Thank you, Adrian. So here it is, the final game of the domestic season that has a bearing on the league. And in two pockets of South Yorkshire, by far the biggest. Playoff final always a grand occasion with its jeopardy, fine margins and high emotion. But when the two protagonists have any form of local rivalry, the ingredients are there for a match thoroughly heralded for years. So it is for Sheffield Wednesday and Barnsley, separated by just 12 miles on the map, 10 points in the table. The Owls still fighting for promotion after the most extraordinary comeback in playoff history. The Tykes hoping that this League 1 campaign ends for them in the same manner as their last two, with promotion. It was the men from the Steel City that finished higher than two in the table, losing only 6 games all season, but 2 of those were against Barnsley, whose March victory ended Wednesday's 23-game unbeaten run and heralded the late season wobble that saw them fall just short in their bid for automatic promotion. Most lines are unchanged from the teams that won their respective semi-final second legs. Barnsley have Eisted in goal, Bobby Thomas, Anderson and Kitching in the usual back three, Williams, Phillips, Connell, Kane and Cadden, and then Tedic and Cole, who scored in both games against the Owls in the regular season, up front. For Wednesday, it's Dawson in goal, Iorfa, Ihikwe and James. Patterson at right wing back we expect again, with Palmer tucked in one in central midfield alongside Bannon, Johnson on the left, and then Windus behind Smith and Gregory, a front three who have 47 goals between them over the course of this season. The benches for Barnsley: Russell, Norwood, Benson, Luke Thomas, Cotter, Waters and Collins. And for Wednesday, Brown, Volks, Adeniran, Hunt, Delibashiru, Flint and Stockdale. The referee today, Tim Robinson, who takes charge of a Barnsley against Sheffield Wednesday game for the 3rd time. Darren Moore, white polo shirt and tracksuit bottoms, shakes the hand of Mike Duff, also dressed for the weather of a very sunny, hot, baking North London afternoon in t-shirt and tracksuit bottoms. Which of the two will be celebrating come the end of the day? Sheffield Wednesday, to all intents and purposes, have already been knocked out of the playoffs once. They conjured up that most extraordinary comeback. Barnsley getting the job done against Bolton with 2 typical hard-working, high-pressing Barnsley performances. Clash of styles to a certain extent today. Which of these 2 South Yorkshire rivals are going to be able to get the job done? Wednesday, blue and white striped shirts, black shorts. They're defending what used to be the tunnel end here at Wembley away to our left-hand side. That is the section of Wembley that houses the Sheffield Wednesday supporters. Barnsley, red shirts, white shorts, defending the end away to our right-hand side. 44,000 here from Sheffield, 36,000 from Barnsley, cheering their respective sides on. Well, we're underway. It was 30 years ago that Sheffield Wednesday last won at Wembley, a derby victory against the Blades that led to the FA Cup final. Now they face more local rivals, with Barnsley hoping to condemn the Owls to a 3rd successive third-tier season. That's something that hasn't happened since the 1970s. So will Barnsley bounce back at the first time of asking again, or can Wednesday return to the Championship? Early free kick given away by Smith. Arms flailing as he jumped high around the edge of the penalty area. It's a free kick that will be taken by the Barnsley goalkeeper Harry Eisted. He's 28 years of age. It's only the 29th senior game of his career today. Andy Cole trying to help it on towards the edge of the penalty area. Tedic missing his kick on the edge of the box, and the Wednesday back line able to clear that. You with talksport. It is the League 1 Play-off final. 0-0 in the early stages between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday, with the Reds bringing it forward again. Cadden waiting in space on the left-hand side. Kitching is in there, trying to make life difficult. The clearance from Iorfa going forward towards halfway, where it's then headed back by Connell, helped on by Kane, down towards Kitching on the Barnsley left. Tedic can take it on the half turn and try and feed it back for Phillips. Sheffield Wednesday able to whack it away. But Barnsley having some decent early possession till Barry Bannon gets his foot on the ball in the midfield for Wednesday. Tedic trying to win it back. James, the smallest of the centre-halves on the field today, getting it out towards Johnson. And a long ball forward from him, headed by Kitching, and then Cadden back to safety for Barnsley in the midfield before Palmer gives the free kick away. We're a couple of minutes in. Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. I'm delighted to say alongside Courtney Sweetman Kirk and also Chris Iwalamo.
You can see very early on Sheffield Wednesday going very direct. Michael Smith is the outlet, the option. He's got to win those aerial duels. It's going to be a fantastic battle between himself and Anderson of Barnsley. At the minute, very straight from kick-off, the forearm went into the face of Anderson there. But again, it's just that momentum. You need your arms to jump, and a free kick was given rightfully.
Bannon poking the ball down on the edge of the penalty area, and it's cleared again down the right-hand side towards Patterson. Barnsley winning it back in the midfield. Two centre-halves both going for the same ball. Alpha and Hickwick. No damage done as far as Wednesday are concerned. They get it cleared out towards halfway. Cadden, who won promotion last season from League 2 up to League 1 with Forest Green, just playing the ball down the left-hand touchline. Out of play for a throw that will be taken on the edge of the Wednesday penalty area. A lot of the talk before the game was how Sheffield Wednesday were going to approach this defensively, whether they were going to try and play out from the back corner or whether they would be forced to go long. What are you anticipating?
Yeah, I think we've seen it early on. They're going direct to the forwards, as Chris pointed out, and as well, I think when Barnsley are flooding numbers forward at a point, they were left 2v2. So if they can get the ball into the forwards quick and with those numbers, Sheffield Wednesday will fancy their chances.
James trying to work it down the left-hand touchline for Johnson. That cleared out the back by Bobby Thomas for Barnsley, who are in their 4th playoff final today. They won at this level back in 2006. They beat Swansea, and then in 2016 they saw off the challenge of Millwall to win promotion to the Championship. They did lose the Championship playoff final back in 2000. That was the last ever playoff final at the old Wembley, where they were beaten by Ipswich Town. Wednesday also with unhappy experience of playing at the old Wembley. Remember that flurry of games they had in 1993, where they won the FA Cup semi-final against Sheffield United, but lost the League Cup final, the FA Cup final replay as well to Arsenal. They're on the front foot here, flicking in towards the near post as Smith turned it in. Good movement towards that near post area came from Windus, but it was knocked away. And Barnsley will be able to clear, but that's a something or nothing ball through the midfield that Devante Cole will chase, but stood little chance of being able to get on the end of. Clever little chest pass from Connell, and then played by Luke Kitching down the line, the man that scored the winning goal against Bolton in that second leg of the playoff semi-finals a few days ago. The ball goes out of play for a throw that Herbie Kane of Barnsley will leave for Kitching to come forward to take. 4.5 gone, 0-0 in the Wembley sunshine between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday. We're situated almost level with the edge of the penalty area that Barnsley are attacking. We're right in the middle of the Sheffield Wednesday support, effectively. Here's Kitching, bringing it forward over halfway again for Barnsley. Swept towards the edge of the area. James gets it away from Tedic in the air. And Phillips laying it off to the right-hand side. An opportunity for Barnsley to bring it forward with Jordan Williams. Left-footed in, swinging cross. Half cleared. Cadden trying to get on it. But again, Patterson's there to clear for Wednesday. Long ball thumped forward over the head of Smith, who was given little chance from being able to turn by Mess Anderson, the Barnsley number 6 at the heart of the back line. And now Cadden will be able to bring it forward again. Just checks. 10 yards from the corner flag, some lovely turns, beaten Patterson, but the delivery not as good as the approach play. Iorfa can clear, and then a free kick is given away by Smith, about 6 yards inside his own half. 0-0, with 5.5 minutes gone on talksport.
I think that's a bit naive from Smith. I get that he wants to, try and get the ball under control, but this is the thing. If Sheffield Wednesday are going to play direct, they need to make sure when it goes up to those forwards that it sticks.
Yeah, I've got to say as well, I think Patterson on the right-hand side there defensively, he's on the money at the minute, and positioning-wise, but when that quality from back to front just has to be better. It's been fight balls at the minute for Smith. Can they go into body? Windass has to do a lot to make sure that he's around picking up those second balls, but Connell for Barnsley's doing his job.
Well, this Barnsley free kick, Connell and Kane, the two players standing over it. So by the time it's been spotted down, it's about 12 yards inside the Wednesday half, very much over towards the left-hand touchline. Connell strikes it, left-footed, far too close to Dawson, who can take a couple of easy steps back inside his 6-yard box, catch it cleanly. And the first Barnsley set piece has been successfully navigated by Sheffield Wednesday.
Well, you're looking at Barry Bannon there, just signalling to Dawson just to kind of slow it down, going direct. Can they get close enough to go, like you say, pick up those second balls? But they've got to win these aerial duels. You know, the ball coming up has to be with quality.
Wednesday punting it forward towards the edge of the Barnsley penalty area again. Turned away and then volleyed by Kitching high up in the air down towards the touchline. Devante Cole just given a slight shove underneath the flight of the ball there by Palmer. No foul. It goes out of play for a Wednesday throw. 60% possession of Barnsley in the early stages. Callum Patterson, who's greying of hair these days, just getting the ball, rubbing it on his shirt before preparing to launch a long throw down the right-hand touchline. And it's a good long throw as well, which bounces past the edge of the penalty area. Smith is there and delivers it out towards the right-hand side. Chance for Windus to deliver. Far post header gets it clear for Bannon, and his shot deflects away for the first corner of the game.
That looked goal bound to me. It's fantastic technique the way Barry Bannon takes this down. He hits it sort of sidewinder style, and that looks like it was heading towards goal.
Well, Bannon himself will come across to take this corner. A player with plenty of playoff experience. He won the Championship playoff final in his Blackpool days in 2010. He was actually in the Owls side that played in their last playoff final. That was in the Championship. They lost to Hull 7 years ago. Bannon and Jack Hunt, who's on the bench today, both played in that. In comes his corner. It's a vicious in-swinger towards the far post. It's half dealt with. He played out to the edge of the penalty area, worked back out to Bannon. Bannon on his left foot, couldn't get himself into an angle to cross. Lays it off for Palmer instead. Palmer's ball in. Might bounce on the edge of the penalty area. It's a fantastic save. I think it was Iorfa that struck the shot. And goalkeeper Istead just raised a hand in front of his face to be able to beat it away. So the best chance of the opening 10 minutes falls for Sheffield Wednesday.
Massive opportunity. It has to be in the back of the net there. I think Iorfa's coming on. Patterson does everything right, just keeps it alive, bouncing the 6-yard box. Iorfa's coming any other side of the goalkeeper there, then it's in the back of the net, but great reaction save.
Barnsley just hemmed it inside their own final third at the moment. Still can't get it away. Bannon inside the centre circle, winning it back. Now Hickwith. Down to his left-hand side for Reece James, just gliding it forward. Barnsley able to clear for the edge of their own penalty area. Brought back down again though by Bannon. Almost 400 Wednesday games behind him. Good ball in from him. Smith's control not great. It was a heavy touch off his chest, and it's then well defended by Cadden, who flicked it into Smith. And out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken away to our right-hand side by Harry Istead. He's been the busier of the two goalkeepers in the early stages. We're 10 minutes in to the League 1 Play-off final here on talksport. It's still Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Here's Courtney Sweetman-Kerr.
Yeah, and it's a really good ball in, but I think Steve Smithy was saying, talk to me. There's someone in a better position behind him to take it down. But he doesn't know, he can't leave it at that point. He doesn't realise that his teammates behind him.
Istead taking the clearance. Just send it right down the middle where it was easy for Patterson to head away. He was trying to knock it out towards the right flank and got the direction all wrong. And then a free kick's given away by Connell in the midfield, which Sheffield Wednesday will be able to take about 15-20 yards inside the Barnsley half. Barnsley with an early flurry of possession, but it's Wednesday who are just beginning to get the first substantial grip of the game here. Banner stands, hands on hips. It's central position for a free kick. About 20 outside the penalty area, something like that. Very straight, not in a position to shoot, but he can tee it up here towards the edge of the box where he's got six-footers all waiting for the delivery. In it comes. Istead's come a long way. He got something on it, and the referee has stopped play as a Wednesday player down injured. Istead coming out, punching the ball, and won it cleanly, but took his man as well on the follow-through. Patterson down injured, face down in the turf, and he's potentially going to need a little bit of treatment here.
Yeah, well, as soon as that ball leaves the foot of Barry Bannon there, Patterson knows that he's got round the back of the Barnsley defence. He knows he's going to take a sole one there, but bravery from Patterson. Istead comes out. I need to have a look at it again because Yes, a clean punch, both hands as well from Isted. Excellent goalkeeping, made the decision early and had to make contact with the ball.
Yeah, he does really well, and that's what you want from your keeper, isn't it? Look, he's coming for the ball, but sometimes you've got to take everything else what's in front of you as well.
Well, this is the last game of the league season, if you like. Not a regular league fixture, of course, but the last game of the league season. We'll know the exact makeup of the divisions at the end of the day. Here on talksport, talking through the action, your EFL station. Next season, more than 500 live games for you on the talksport network. But even though this is the end of the regular league season, the playoffs today, still much more live football to come, starting Wednesday night here on talksport, where the Europa League final sees Sevilla take on Roma. You won't hear that anywhere else. Saturday, the small matter of the Manchester derby in the FA Cup final, kicking off at 3, build up from 1. Stuart Pearce and Mickey Gray, part of your commentary team for that game, taking place this Saturday. And then Wednesday, a week Wednesday, the 7th of June, it's West Ham against Fiorentina in the Europa Conference League final with Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton talking through the action of that game live from Prague. Champions League final, England's games coming up as well. There's still plenty of live football coming your way on the TalkSport network. Patterson's okay. Back on his feet, able to continue. Play resumes with Isted kicking the ball from hands from the edge of his penalty area. He's put out a play for a throw that will be taken over on the Barnsley right-hand side. It'll be Bobby Thomas that will come forward to take it. Bobby Thomas, who's on loan from Burnley, spent the first half of the campaign in a similar situation at Bristol Rovers. He's done really well for Barnsley. Launches this throw inside the penalty area. Hickwick climbing the highest, gets it away. Connell, then Tedic trying to flick that back on towards Devante Cole. Barnsley haven't really been able to get the two of those working in tandem so far. Ball brought down in the midfield by Kane. And then played up the right-hand touchline by Thomas. Looking for Tedic. Connell towards the edge of the penalty area, able to ride a challenge from Bannon, slip it off to his left-hand side for Kane, now down towards Cadden, and the Scotsman playing it down the left-hand side of the penalty area, but Wednesday doing well to come back and defend. Patterson flicking it forward. Kane won it back temporarily. Patterson can stick his left foot through the ball to clear, but Connell, the Irishman in the Barnsley midfield, wins the seconds. Floated forward and then headed down for Adam Phillips, who was leaning back and skies a volley over the bar. 14 gone, 0-0.
Well, the ball's bouncing back, isn't it? It's coming off Smith, it's coming off Windass, and I've got to say Connell's alive to pick it up and then has that quality just to find Phillips there. But again, it's just keeping it alive, very direct, and they've got bodies coming in on the top of it in the box.
I think some of it as well, the balls in aren't good enough, but actually when the balls in are good enough, the midfield that runs and where they're positioning at times is poor, because Smithy heads that ball back. You know he wants to do that, but then he's got the player running in behind him. He needs space to feet first to take that ball and then spin him behind.
Cam Dawson's long clearance for Sheffield Wednesday, still 0-0. One sharp reaction save from Isted, but that's what we've seen for either goalkeeper so far. Barnsley going to be able to bring the ball forward here. Has a good marauding run from centre half for Kitching, and then didn't have a pass to match it as he slipped it too far wide and high of Devante Cole. And out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Wednesday right level with the edge of their own penalty area. 15 gone in the League 1 Play-off final on TalkSport.
Yeah, I don't mind that from Kitchen at all. You know, he's driving. You know, he's got Josh Windass chasing him all the way. Can he commit? I offer, you know, and then release Devante Cole there, because he had no reason to pass the ball when he did. Cole wasn't expecting it, but again, Cole, I want a little bit more movement from you. Can you kind of come from outside to in, and then make your offer, make a decision?
Well, from Cole involved again, and both teams claiming that the throw should be theirs. It's been given to Barnsley, possibly correctly. Kitching receives the ball from a young ball boy wearing a baseball cap to protect him from the intense heat today, which may well be a factor. The longer the afternoon goes on, we are in a position that potentially for the first time in playoff history, all three playoffs could go to extra time and penalties. The National League, the playoff final went to extra time as well. Ball over on the Sheffield Wednesday left. Play back between the defenders. James to a Hickwick to Iorfa. Long ball play forward from him, which will just evade Smith. He and Kitching just wrestling each other, and the ball was almost of secondary importance to the pair of them. Cadden will clear it for Barnsley. Long ball forward, and Tedic is wrestled to the ground by Hikwe. The referee says no foul. And Tedic is down, holding the back of his head and his neck, and the Wednesday fans are booing him because they feel that he's made something of that wasn't necessary. And play stops before James is forced to put the ball out of play so that Tedic can receive any treatment that's necessary. Yeah,
what I will say about the referee is, he does need to call that earlier if he thinks it's a head injury, but actually in terms of the consistency of not giving fouls, I think, he's let a lot go. It's been equal as it stands for both teams, and I think he's trying to let the game flow as much as possible.
Slobodan Tedic, a striker. He's only 23. On loan from Manchester City, a player who once scored a hat-trick in a Serbian Cup quarter-final, but hasn't really got too many goals in English football up to this point. He's seen much more action as a substitute than a starter for Barnsley over the course of this season, which is one of the reasons he scored only 4. He's back on his feet. Just feeling the back of his neck still. He's okay. They didn't have to go through the concussion protocol. He's going to be able to continue all right.
Well, I just looked at it on the monitor there, Jim, and there was nothing in it at all. It wasn't even a challenge to come through the back of the neck or the head. So I think he's a little bit of play acting there. What I'll say, Nicky Cadden and Jordan Williams, both wing backs for Barnsley, are kind of dropped back into that 5. They've got to be a little bit more adventurous. Can they go on the front foot? And I think the likes of Patterson and Johnson for Sheffield Wednesday are just kind of forcing them back because they are going so direct.
And that wing-back battle could be one of the key elements to that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be key there, and especially for Barnsley when Liam Kitchen gets going as well. That's an extra number, but as I mentioned earlier, the play then leaves Barnsley 2v2 at the back, so Sheffield Wednesday, if they can find the right ball and exploit that, it will be very opportunistic for them.
Patterson making a good jump on the right-hand side, heading it forward towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Lee Gregory. Another with a playoff final experience in the past, back in his Millwall days. Phillips just almost guilty, wanting too much time, sends it forward. A horrible bounce inside the penalty area, but certainly favoured Tedic rather than the Wednesday defender. It's almost as if the penalty area hasn't been watered sufficiently, because as the ball came down, it just kind of stopped. And so the momentum of the two players coming back, Iorfa and Tedic almost ran past him. That favoured the Barnsley man, but he couldn't make the most of it. He's pulled his defender back anyway. It's a free kick to Wednesday.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of backspin on it as well, but as you say, this area of the pitch is bathed in the sun, and that won't help. The pitch will dry up a little bit, and I just think as well it is probably a bit of miscommunication. I think Dawson needs to come out quicker.
I think Iorfa's got to deal with it. He's allowing it to bounce. He's wanting his goalkeeper to commit. But if you don't hear that communication, go and deal with it as a defender. He doesn't read the flight of the ball very well, Iorfa, but he's got that athleticism to make up those mistakes.
0-0. We're in the 20th minute. Barnsley did the double over Wednesday this season. They ended the Owls' 23-match unbeaten league run back in March. The only team to beat the Owls twice this season. As I mentioned earlier, they went through the whole season only losing 6 games, Sheffield Wednesday, which is an extraordinary record. 96 points. 2 of those 6 defeats did come to the hands of Michael Duff's Tykes. You've got to go back nearly 20 years for the last time that Wednesday lost 3 times to the same opponent in one season. That was when Blackpool beat them 4 times back in the 03-04 campaign. Offside flag curtails the latest Barnsley attack as it's played forward here inside the penalty area. It had been cleared anyway before the flag came up, and it's a free kick that will be taken by Wednesday on the edge of their own penalty area. There's the better form coming into the playoffs as well. Apart from the aberration of that first leg playoff semi-final defeat, they have won 5 of the last 6 games. Barnsley only 2 out of 7 coming into these playoffs. Dawson to take this free kick for Sheffield Wednesday, who are kicking from left to right as we look at it here at Wembley. And as he's launched it forward again, the passage of play is quickly stopped by a shrill blast of the referee's whistle. It's a free kick this time to Barnsley. It has been quite stop-start through the opening quarter of the game here on talksport, where half chances have been at a premium. Wednesday with the clearest of them, and Iorfa forcing a smart save out of Iceland. It would have been disappointed had the ball beaten him from there. Tedic heading it down. It's cleared by Iorfa on the edge of his own penalty area, and then headed very intelligently by Gregory out of the Sheffield Wednesday left-hand side. Bannon's going to be able to take over here. Smith making a run towards the edge of the box. Johnson ahead of Bannon. He's pulled it back instead for Reece James. James with a left-footed delivery. Iceland will come out and catch it. It was dying on him pretty quickly, but he was able to take it cleanly, 2 or 3 feet off the ground. Decent goalkeeping now. And we've reached the midway stage of the first half just about. Still 0-0 on talksport.
And for me, that's the pattern that Sheffield Wednesday would have wanted to see. It goes up, it sticks, there's depth behind the ball to set the ball off, and then they can play in the Barnsley final third.
Lee Gregory still wearing his protective mask, incidentally, after the facial injury that he picked up a few weeks ago now. They get a couple of goals against Barnsley back in March in that 4-2 defeat. Suspiciously close to handball by Bobby Thomas as the ball was just angled through the centre circle, and he leant into it, but it was above the t-shirt line. You would imagine that was the justification of the referee not giving the handball. Connell's got it again.
Talk about Lee Gregory and that face mask as well. I think he lost it, didn't he, in the celebrations? It had to be returned back to him because it's specially made, so they didn't have time to make another one.
Here's to Van de Cole for Barnsley. Back to the direction of play. Just pops it off to the Barnsley right. Back for Thomas again. Thomas to the Danish international Les Anderson. And then down from him to Connell. Connell on halfway. A foot forward through the midfield, and then Connell putting his left foot through it, pinging it out towards the far side of the penalty area. Tedic coming to meet it. Chests it down for Jordan Williams. Williams right on the touchline, faced up by Johnson. Plays the ball back behind square for Phillips. Kane now out towards the Barnsley right again. Low ball in towards the near post, but James is there ahead of Tedic to deal with it. James had a good start of this game, and now Wednesday are going to be able to bring it away. A chance for Gregory to try and go up through the gears, take it out towards the left-hand touchline. 2 Barnsley players with it, and Anderson's the one that gets the touch to steer it out of play for a throw that will be taken by Wednesday down towards the Barnsley corner flag. 23 minutes having gone, still 0-0 here in the League 1 Play-off final. Already seen Luton and Carlisle win their respective Play-off finals. Whose turn is it going to be today? Barnsley with a much better playoff record than Wednesday over the years. Ball goes straight over the line and out of play for a throw that would be taken by Barnsley over on that far side. Wednesday without a win in their last 4 games at Wembley since the famous FA Cup semi-final victory against Sheffield United back in 1993, the year that Wednesday got to both cup finals and lost each of them to Arsenal. They have won 3 times at the old Wembley as it was. It's going to be a hiatus before the throw is taken over on the far side, because the temperatures are such that both managers decided before the game that there would be a drinks break just about at the halfway stage of this first half. It's the natural time to do it, and it gives us the chance to sum up what we've seen so far with 24 goalless minutes behind us. Chris?
Yeah, I think both managers will be quite happy with what they're seeing. I think the attacking options are causing problems. More so, I think Michael Duff's Barnsley, the Tedic and Cole are linking up very well. Tedic, the way that he pulls away, that option's so hard to defend. He can take it down his chest, bring other players in. I think he does it very, very well. I think with Liam Palmer allows Barry Bannon to kind of go a little bit more forward and try and help Josh Windass pick up those second balls, but it's been bouncing off that front 2 of Sheffield Wednesday.
Where's the room for improvement, Courtney?
For me, for Wednesday, it is definitely holding it up in that final third. Obviously, the service to them has got to be better. Then they need to be finding Barry Bannon a bit more, because, as we say, Liam Palmer does release him. He's just not had the opportunity as much to get on the ball. And for me, on the other side of it, Barnsley, I think they really need to release the fullbacks a little bit more. I get, the big occasion, and you don't want to lose it early on. But for me, they need to let the shackles go, not play with any inhibitions.
You're listening to Sheffield Wednesday against Barnsley in the EFL League 1 final. It's live on talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Barnsley have had most of their success so far this season when they've had less of the ball. at the moment they're just shading possession. That's not an ideal scenario for them. What do they do to try and redress that so that the game will develop more to their strengths?
Well, just on what Courtney said, I think the likes of Jordan Williams and Nicky Cadden, can they kind of step forward, have that belief in the defenders that they're going to go win those aerial duels, and then the likes of Connell and Phillips picking up those second balls, but getting the ball in advanced areas, keeping it wide, expansive, so they can have those deliveries into the 18-yard box because they've got the bodies in there.
Back on the way, Wednesday clearing the ball midway inside their own half. Barnsley winning it back, played into the feet of Cole, taken out towards the touchline and win a throw. No, he hasn't won a throw, it's come off him last. A little double ricochet. That's the throw that will be taken on the Wednesday left. Wednesday's only successful playoff final 18 years ago today, May the 29th, a happy day for them back in 2005 when they beat Hartlepool by 4-2 to make it back into the second tier. I've had a couple of seasons at this level now, having been beaten in the playoff semi-finals last year by Sunderland. As I mentioned earlier, they haven't had 3 successive seasons in the old third division since back in the 1970s. Hoping to be able to rectify that. Barnsley, on the other hand, a really good record of being able to bounce back from League 1 to the Championship. Hoping to do so for a third successive attempt. They'll bring the ball forward here with Kitching, the round-shouldered centre-half. Well read, though, his ball forward, picked up by Iorfa, who will make his way through the centre circle, and the ball popped out towards the left-hand side. It was an injudicious lunge from Williams in the midfield. Referee allows play to go on. Gregory just trying to bring the ball down around the edge of the D. Couldn't control it cleanly. Barnsley clear, only as far as Bannon. And played forward again by Palmer. Might have gone through to the goalkeeper, but Anderson seemingly didn't get a shout, and he played it from inside his box, and then down the line Bannon slides in and stops Cole's progress down the left-hand touchline. He goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Barnsley left-hand side.
I like that from Isle for the way that he stepped in and he kept going. He didn't stop his run, and that gives Barnsley something a little bit different to think about. He's more of obviously a target up there when he is there, and then again the positioning for me for Sheffield Wednesday was better because in the second ball Barry Bannon was out. He was on the front foot and ready to play.
Kitching taking a throw quickly. Connell, Anderson back to the goalkeeper Eisner, now out towards Thomas. Barnsley will play it then out towards the right-hand touchline for Jordan Williams, the former Huddersfield player. So the next game for Barnsley will be his 150th for the club. Hickwit, former Rotherham man, clearing it towards halfway. We're hoping to win promotion from this division for a second successive season. Ball played down towards the left-hand touchline. Cadden just ran out of room under pressure from Patterson. It goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Sheffield Wednesday right-hand side. Half an hour really where you can tell that the tension is there, the heat is there. There's not been a huge amount of free-flowing football. The stakes quite clearly high, and still both sides really just feeling each other out, making sure that there are no huge mistakes being made. And safety first, really, through the opening 29 minutes or so.
No, definitely, it's very evident there again. Michael Smith, just the ball bouncing off him again, but Callum Patterson on the front foot, just trying to pick up the second ball and forcing the error and winning them the throw-in. It just has to be better, that quality from back to front, but when it does come, Smith has to allow better touch, allows teammates to get up and support, and then it's just about his distribution.
Goal kick that Barnsley will take away to our right-hand side. Harry Eisted spotting the ball down. Could be a promotion double for him. He's on loan from Luton. Will play through the Barnsley penalty area. They will play out from the back, inviting Wednesday to press. Cadden playing it back for Anderson. Anderson to Thomas, who'd stepped forward into the midfield from centre-half, and now finds himself almost an inside left from the right centre-half position as they do play out from the back. He then hoiks it over the Wednesday back line. Palmer had done well to cover the runner Kane, and the ball went over the pair of them and goes through for Wednesday keeper Cam Dawson.
Yeah, he did, but again, Nicky Cadden dropping in there. I don't think he needs to do that. One, it's cutting off the space on the run, and then in terms of when it goes up, Kane, yes, he's making that run, but he needs some support as well, and just going back to them wing backs being a little bit more adventurous.
Wednesday in the midfield with Palmer, longest serving player they have. Played through the midfield. Patterson making a run down the touchline. There's one back in the heart of the Barnsley midfield there by Herbie Kane. Kitching with a long diagonal out towards the right for Jordan Williams, who will be able to get there at the second attempt and stick his right leg up and flick the ball down the line here for the run of Adam Phillips. He loses out down by the corner flag. And Bannon and James between them has done a very good job being able to clear for Sheffield Wednesday. Then Tedic comes in to meet it. Cole flicking it back. Connell's got it. Rolling the ball across to Herbie Kane. Kane down to the left-hand side. Cadden first time delivery. And it takes a deflection off Patterson. And Barnsley have their first corner of the game.
Yeah, it's much better from Barnsley there. Connell, under a lot of pressure, just slows it down, takes it on the thigh, and then gives it to Cadden on the left-hand side. Tried to put the early cross in, but blocked. It was going from head to head there, and just Connell having that composure and bravery just to get it down and play.
So Connell will come across to take this corner. Player who won the Scottish League 1 Play-offs in his days with Queen's Park just last season. He impressed there. I've been on the books of Celtic. And Barnsley took a punt on him. He's done very well this season in the heart of the Tykes midfield. Come across to take this. It's going to be a left-footed away swinger towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Acrobatically dealt with by Bannon and then volleyed over the bar by Cadden, who can't hide his frustration at having been unable to come close to hitting the target.
Yeah, I think it's always got to be spectacular from there, but I think the initial corner as well, yes, Barry Bannon does well, but it's got to beat the first player. That's the rule, 100%. It's got to go across that first player to give the obviously the centre-halves and the good headers of the ball that have come up to get on the ball.
That'll be a concern as well. Two Barnsley players free at the edge of the box from the Bannon header there. They have to get kind of up to speed with that one.
Already 12 minutes to go to half-time. This already has the feeling of a game that has every chance of going to extra time, I would say. The ball is with Kitching, back to the goalkeeper. Seen by many as the hardest of the three playoff finals to call. Challenge comes into the midfield from Connell, who took a little bit of everything, and what he took a Windass, the referee took exception to. It's a free kick that will be taken by Wednesday, just on the edge of the centre circle. Tim Robinson, the referee today. It's the third time that he's taken charge of a Barnsley Sheffield Wednesday game. Camera panning to Dean Windass, who's sitting in the crowd today. Josh Windass's father. And Dean, who once scored the winning goal in a championship playoff final game. The goalkeeper that he beat that day, Adriano Basso, who is Wednesday's goalkeeping coach today. So he's here as well, 15 years on. I wonder if it's been mentioned. Reece James lets the ball run through for his goalkeeper, Cam Dawson. Goes back to Dawson again. Long right-footed ball forward from him. Play forward towards the edge of the penalty area, climbing a long way, Kitching over the top of his man. And there wasn't a question that Gregory made a back for him. It was an illegal challenge from Kitching, climbing too high and trying to use Gregory as leverage to get it away. And the free kick's been given Wednesday's way, and this is a half-decent area for them now.
No, it's an excellent area for them there. For me, it's Kitchen. You've got to make better contact with the ball there. He's climbing over. Gregory knows exactly what he's doing, and he just stops. For me, it's a soft free kick to give away, if not go the other way. But they have to make sure they're switched on defending here with the quality of Bannon.
Yeah, he just felt the contact, Gregory, and leant over to make Kitching sink as the ball comes inside the penalty area from Bannon and is comfortably dealt with by Eisted. Came out, handled it, and he's not straight back on his feet either. I think he's going to be okay. It's just a little collision with some of the traffic in front of him as he came to meet that. 35 minutes gone. Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Eisted taking 2 or 3 steps back and then taking another 2 or 3 forward, and he'll punt it from hands. Just trying to draw Michael Smith into coming to meet him. Not forward long, quickly, and then there's a collision, a clash of heads between a player from each side over towards the far touchline, and the medical staff waved on immediately by referee Tim Robinson.
Yeah, you just see nothing untoward, but both challenging for the ball and certainly connect with each other quite badly, and that's why the doctors and the physios are on so quickly.
It just had the potential to be a nasty bang, that. having seen the replay of it, both I think are going to be able to continue, but this is a situation where concussion protocol is so important, and both sets of physios will be making sure that their man is okay. They can't take any undue risks, that goes without saying. And while we're talking about things that are happening underwater, our continued best wishes to Tom Lockyer after Saturday's playoff final, and thoughts of everyone at talksport with him as he continues his recuperation. I think the Sheffield Wednesday player that's down hurt has actually come off the worst of the two over on that far side. The Barnsley man Tedic is back on his feet the quicker, and he'll make his way over towards the touchline, having received treatment before being allowed back on. But James is going to be okay as well. He's just having a little compress applied to the top of his hand. He'll be all right, and he'll be able to continue as well. 8 minutes to go to half-time on a day where chances have been very few and far between so far, but that just makes the tension ratchet up another couple of notches. The most significant moment of the day of these two teams' seasons still lying ahead of us in the Wembley sunshine today. Play will restart with a drop ball. Devante Cole claiming it should be a Barnsley ball, but I don't really think he's got any case there. And the referee's just going to drop it at the feet of Iortha. Iortha plays it back to his goalkeeper. The referee then waves both James and Tedic back on. And once they're back on and in position, Dawson will bring it out the penalty area, and he will now prepare to clear right-footed downfield into the shadow away to our right-hand side. That Barnsley penalty area very much in shadow. Most of the rest of the pitch is in sun. Ball throw down the line by Patterson. Clever little flick from Smith round the corner. Gregory coming to meet him. Will turn back out of the penalty area. Right-footed ball hung in high by Patterson towards the far post. Headed down on the edge of the 6-yard box, but nobody there. And it'll be cleared by Bobby Thomas for Barnsley. And then flicked off down towards the near touchline. Smith's going to be the quickest to react to that, and he's going to get there before Cannon. Right-footed ball, Cannon's away, VAR deflection, and Eichstead stops it going out of play for a corner.
Well, much better play from Michael Smith there. Great little touch to find Gregory. Good quality coming in from Patterson as well, and Johnson puts it back into the danger area, but everyone had gambled at that near post area. But fantastic play, build up and quality of delivery as well.
Kane for Barnsley. Back through the midfield. And Anderson bringing it forward again towards the edge of the centre circle to his left-hand side. And Liam Kitching. Play forward again, a lively bounce goes over the top of Tedic's head. Cole coming back to try and recover things with Iortha, but the offside flag was up against Cole, who'd come back from an offside position as he attempted to influence play there. And Barry Bannon takes a free kick quickly from slightly the wrong place, didn't really get any advantage from that. Finds James through the midfield. Wednesday will bring it forward and find Palmer. Palmer controlling it. Just popping it off through the midfield for Barry Bannon again. Now from Bannon down the left-hand touchline, Sheffield Wednesday are able to get the bodies forward. They're inside Barnsley territory. It's 0-0. 6 minutes to go to half-time. There'll be a fair bit of stoppage time to be added on at the end of this first half. Patterson chasing a long diagonal that's going to beat him to the touchline. Goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken in the Barnsley left-back position. 5 to go to half-time. It's 0-0. Here's Courtney Sweetman-Kelly.
I think Sheffield Wednesday are building, though. Again, it's the right idea. They flood the left-hand side, get it out quickly and try and play it out on the switch to try and catch Barnsley out. And again, it starts from Iortha for me. It's been fantastic now. A few times he's stepping in, he's being aggressive and winning the ball in very good positions.
As Barnsley throw, held up the left-hand touchline. Cole coming to meet it. It's come off his shoulder and bounces straight back out again for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. Tedic just arguing the toss, refusing to release the ball to Hikwe. But Patterson now has it in his hands, and he will be able to take the throw. Down the right-hand side of the penalty area, just evaded Smith, who got nothing on it at all. Swing and a miss, and straight out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Eichstead away to our right-hand side. It's been a little bit attritional I think it's fair to say, from what we've seen through 41 minutes.
Yeah, it's not pure ferocity from Patterson in my opinion. Smith can't do much, defenders marking him tight. It's got to be on the inside, so like you say, they're contesting it. If no one touches it, it's bouncing towards goal, and you've got your likes of Gregory floating around Smith behind, but it has to be better. Just little moments like that, just the delivery.
Isted with the clearance over on the far touchline. It's headed back through the midfield. Tedic can't get it to stick. Wednesday clear it, looking long. Smith chasing after it. Anderson backpedaling, is able to head it away. Williams loses out. An opportunity for Gregory to make something happen. Pop back for Bannon. First time ball in from him over Smith, and Cadden will try and watch it over the line for a goal kick. He's managed that. Be a goal kick would be taken by Harry Isted. But what we've seen in the last 20 minutes, not a lot of quality in either attacking final third, but it's Wednesday that are asking more of the question.
Yeah, they're certainly asking more questions. That ball through, I think it wasn't bad. It played the percentages. Anderson, he had to come to the rescue very quickly there. I think Isted was stuck a little bit in two minds. But as you say, I think Wednesday, they're now starting to find those patterns of play and what they want to do. It's just the quality on the ball.
Yeah, there is time when they can play. The pass in there, he can just open out and drive forward, but he's looking for that early pass. And I just think sometimes be brave, just be composed, keep the ball, drive forward, commit. Can you affect it, and then you release?
Kitching heading the ball through the midfield. Bannon sticking his foot on the end of it and just steered it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Barnsley right hand side. It has the feeling of a game where one moment of inspiration might well be enough. Throw taken up the Barnsley right. Tedic letting it run past him. Cole can keep it in down by the corner flag. Little high up and under inside the penalty area. Brought down by Tedic. Kane back for Tedic. Shot on the turn. Plenty of traffic that he couldn't steer it through. And it was blocked by Wednesday on the edge of their own penalty area. Wednesday clear it into the centre circle, but Connell will pick it up. Goes back for Anderson. Now to Kane. Kane exchanging passes with Cadden on the Barnsley left. And play back for Mess Anderson at the heart of the Barnsley back line again. Barnsley scored 80 goals in the regular season, Sheffield Wednesday 81, so very little between them, though Wednesday had the better defensive record of the two. 10 points the difference between these two over the course of the regular season. Wednesday finishing third and closer to winning the title than they were to Barnsley, who finished fourth. That of course counts for absolutely nothing now. Williams 0-0. Wednesday marginally the better of the two teams, but not much in a slightly scrappy affair. Cole claiming he was brought down as he tried to back into Ihekwe. Wednesday are able to bring it away. Darren Moore bobbing up and down on his toes on the edge of the Wednesday technical area as his Owls will be able to bring the ball forward and swept inside the penalty area, but cleared by Thomas and out of play for a throw. Once the ball is retrieved from the Barnsley supporters over on the far touchline, which Sheffield Wednesday will take. We've got about a minute to go to half time. Just waiting to try and find out how many extra minutes will be added. John Busby is the fourth official today. It could easily be 3 or 4. We've had a couple of lengthy spells of treatment for clashes of heads. A chance to launch another long throw inside that penalty area. Everybody expecting it. The box is crowded. The arch at the back. The long delivery in towards the near post. Barnsley with the first contact. Flick back across the edge of the 6-yard box with a slightly misdirected Iorfa. Almost an overhead kick. And flicking it back over his own shoulder. Wednesday recycle it with Bannon playing it back for Palmer. And Palmer to his left-hand side for Reece James. High ball forward from him. Should be the goalkeeper's and is. Isted coming out to claim it. And Gregory's run was actually very well blocked off by the two Barnsley centre-halves who were back there, allowing a little bit of space for their goalkeeper to come out and take control of the situation. Barnsley will get it forward upfield. Just about to go in the first half stoppage time. 5 extra minutes to be played. Kane down to the Barnsley left-hand side now for Cadden. Cadden trying to take it towards the byline. Couldn't beat Patterson, who's only a makeshift right wing back in many ways, but he's stood his ground very well, stuck to his task, and Cadden's found it difficult to get past him.
No, it's great defending from Callum Patterson there. Watching the ball all the time. Nicky Cadden moving it, manipulating the ball. Just couldn't get that yard to put the ball in. But defensively, I think Callum Patterson, he's ticking the box at the minute. But Cadden, can he get a little bit more advanced? Getting the ball a lot, asking that question every time he gets it. But yeah, great defending there.
So it's Bobby Thomas that's going to take this throw for Barnsley. He's only about 3 yards from the corner flag, and with the aid of a white towel, he's just dried the ball, and now runs up to the touchline, hurls it inside the penalty area, and the throw becomes a corner. As Iorfa heads it away, not sure who was where behind him, couldn't take any chances of Patterson under pressure. As we go into the second minute of first half stoppage time, Barnsley get their second corner of the day. That's Luca Connell that will come out to take it. Like the first one, it's going to be a left-footed away swinger in towards the penalty spot, you would imagine. Cole is in there, shoving his man. Header comes in, well over the bar from Thomas. It was a difficult one for him to run onto and try and attack, and he was stooping by the time the ball got there, and it's almost come off the top of his head and gone over the bar. Out of play for a goal kick, which Cam Dawson will take. And it's still Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 in first half stoppage time here on talksport.
Yeah, it's a much better delivery though. It beats the first man, it's in the area, it's contested. Yes, Bobby Thomas, you know, he does well to get something to it, and I know it goes over on this occasion, but you've got to get the ball in the box with quality, and then you never know what happens after that.
Dawson taking the goal kick, headed on. Michael Smith's got it right hand side of the area. Great first time ball in across the edge of the 6-yard box. That was a peach of a delivery. Goes out of play for what has been given as a goal kick. My initial reaction was that it should be a corner. It was Gregory that tried to get across the near post and beat the Barnsley players to it. Well defended in the end. A great delivery coming in from Michael Smith from that right flank. That was much better from Wednesday.
Yeah, excellent. Michael Smith, they're alive to it. Lee Gregory asking the question, and it comes off. It's a corner kick. Jim, no matter how you want to look at it from this angle, I think it's defender. Yeah, you know, Lee Gregory gets that little glance. It's going goalwards, and excellent defending. Out for a corner, what should be a corner.
Yeah, Gregory doing well, got across his man, got there first, a little flick header from him, and then Williams right behind him and covered him every step of the way. He got the last touch to it, but a goal kick was the verdict. And it's easy for us to say when you've seen a replay from the perfect angle, of course. The ball over on the Wednesday left-hand side. Headed back down through the midfield. Kane letting it run. Connell able to bring it under control in his yellow boots, the Irishman. Then makes a run down the left-hand touchline. Played to him by Cadden. Goes out of play for a throw. It'll be taken by Barnsley midway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half with 90 seconds to go to half-time.
It's a lot of work for Connell to do in there again. I want Nicky Cadden to be higher. Liam Kitchen can take that ball, and then Connell can get higher in the middle of the park, and Cadden can then support him, but Cadden being almost on the halfway line, it isn't serving a purpose at this moment for me.
Something for Michael Duff to think about at half-time. And his coaches Martin Patterson and Martin Devaney just assessing how they might be able to get a little bit more out of Barnsley, who scored 6 goals against Wednesday in the regular season, but hasn't come close to one here so far. 0-0 with 49 on the clock. With 45 plus 4 to be more accurate. Clearance from Iorfa, not the best. It's a low skidder that goes through. Cadden can control it and then drive through the midfield towards the edge of the area, in towards the feet of Tedic, and Bannon is back to clear his lines, and immediately there's an inquest. Barry Bannon takes no prisoners. One of his teammates makes a mistake. Barry Bannon might as well get a big neon sign with an arrow and point it over the head of the culprit. He's done so again there. He's balled Iorfa out. It's a lack of concentration from the big centre half, and it's a corner to Barnsley.
Well, it's an easy pass to make to Callum Patterson from Iorfa there. I don't know why he tries to kind of force it. You know, just keep it on the ground, find it into feet, and then go up and support if you have to. There, as soon as it was intercepted, they're defending again. You know, players are out of position. Barry Bannon comes back and does his job defensively, just snuffs out the danger.
So a Barnsley corner right at the end of this first half. Needlessly conceded really after the error from Iorfa. In it comes, it bounces once inside the area, should be easily headed away. It is, and that's half time. No surprise really from the way the game developed that we get to the interval goalless. Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Plenty of bluster, plenty of heat, not a huge amount of quality, and it's goalless amidst the tension at Wembley in the League 1 Play-off final. Well, when the two sides met over the course of the regular season, Devante Cole scored in both games for Barnsley. So too did James Norwood, and he's coming on now at half-time to replace Slobodan Tedic. So a swap for Barnsley up front ahead of this second half. And that will mean that Barnsley have the 11 on the field that started the game when they beat Sheffield Wednesday back in March. I'll run through the two teams for you in a moment as Norwood tries to get involved straight away and does so, taking the ball, which looked suspiciously as though it might have gone out of play for a throw. He's taking it down towards the corner flag where he's won a throw right down by that corner flag. Barnsley lining up Eistedt in goal, Bobby Thomas, Anderson and Kitching, Williams, Phillips, Connell, Kane and Cadden, Norwood and Cole. And Wednesday have Dawson in goal, Iorfa, Hekwe and James, Patterson, Palmer, Bannon and Johnson, Windus, Smith and Gregory. It's 0-0. Barnsley with a first long throw from Bobby Thomas. Gets it almost as far as the penalty spot. Brought down inside the area as Kitching goes down. And the referee more than happy for play to go on. We do have VAR. It is Tony Harrington who's the VAR, and he's clearly told the referee straight away to delay proceedings whilst that challenge can be looked at. I don't know whether it was Gregory that made the challenge potentially. We'll have another look at it now as the ball was flicked on inside the penalty area. Gregory coming up for it, and as Kitching just tried to wrap a left foot around it to volley it, Gregory has made little contact with the ball, and this is not cut and dry, Chris. This could be a penalty.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is a penalty. Kitchen gets to the ball first, takes it away. Gregory's already committed to the challenge to kick it and clear it off. Tell you what, I'll be surprised if it's not given, Jim.
Well, it hasn't been given, and I'm struggling to justify that, I must admit. It feels like a let-off for Sheffield Wednesday corner.
Yeah, it does. Look, don't get me wrong, Gregory is looking at the ball all of the time, but he literally volleys Kitching rather than the ball. So, you know, the angles they've got, maybe they see a touch on the ball slightly different, but it's baffled me, that one.
Kitching was just preparing to volley it with his left foot, and he might not have got there. He stuck his left foot out. Gregory tries to clear it. His eyes are on the ball, but as Kitching's leg comes to meet the ball, Gregory has just basically whacked him on the shin. He's gone down, no penalty given. Next phase of play after the restart, Barnsley have a free kick, and it'll be taken a yard in from the left-hand touchline. Swept inside the penalty area by Connell. Heads go up for it inside the box. Barnsley player goes down injured again. It's back on his feet straight away. The Tykes fans at that end of the ground claiming that should have been a penalty as well. We believe the first one should have been. But the VAR had a look at it, said that there was no clear and obvious on-field error. The call on the field from referee Tim Robinson was no foul. I think had he given a penalty, the VAR would have had a look at it. There was no way it would have been overturned. Not to say that the penalty decision was wrong. The footballing equivalent of umpire's call, really. Bannon plays the ball forward, headed away at the back by Thomas for Barnsley, but they might feel hard done by. Connell trying to lever one over the top here for Devante Cole. It's been a good start of the second half here for Barnsley. Brighter in the opening 3-4 minutes of this second period than they were for much of the first. Iorfa gets there to knock it away. Now it comes back through the midfield. One back by Barnsley, doing well with Williams. Can't play the pass that he wanted. And then a sliding challenge comes in. That was a poor one. That was Phillips maybe going over the top of the ball. That's how Barry Bannon saw it. And Phillips might be spoken to here by the referee. Haven't had a yellow card so far today. That's probably the worst challenge of the day so far.
Yeah, I think the referee hasn't. He's tried to let it flow as much as he could, and
he sent him off,
but it's a red.
He sent him off. Adam Phillips is off, and Barnsley are down to 10 men. Controversy at the start of this second half. 2 minutes after Barnsley thought they should have had a penalty, and the replay suggested they had a case. Phillips has now been sent off, shown a straight red for a lunging challenge in the midfield. He's very reluctant to leave the field. I think he's making the point to referee Tim Robinson. Let's see whether that gets overruled by the VAR. Gregory was the Sheffield Wednesday player involved. The loose ball skidding through the midfield. He has gone in high over the top with two legs. Gregory is very much on his way down when the contact is made, and that makes it look a little bit worse. But Phillips sent off, and the VAR is having a look at it. The bottom line is he's out of control as he goes in. He hasn't deliberately tried to hurt him, but he is out of control, both legs off the ground.
Well, looking at that, Phillips is trying to get the ball, but he's trying to leave one in as well. He's missed the ball altogether, and then, like you say, I think it's a dangerous one. It's not controlled. The challenging foot's high, and then it's a trailing leg that takes Gregory there. But I've got to say, I think the referee's got that one correct.
And the VAR thinks he has as well. And Adam Phillips is sent off. And 4 minutes into the second half, Barnsley are reduced to 10 men.
And that just shows, doesn't it, Jim, the fine margins within football. A minute earlier, they were convinced they should have had a penalty. I'm convinced probably they should have had a penalty, but now the game is absolutely flipped on its head with Barnsley down to 10 men.
So what needs to change from a tactical point of view for both of these managers now, Chris?
It's just for Michael Duff, it's about not conceding, I think. A little bit more defensive. Concede possession. That's no biggie for Barnsley. But they have to be effective in that transition when they get the ball. They have to be threatening in some way. They can't be toothless and all defending. They've got to have an outlet.
Bannon bring the ball down in the midfield for Sheffield Wednesday, who now have this numerical advantage. It's played inside the area. Smith trying to get there first. Kitching can take it down towards the dead ball line. It goes out of play for a goal kick. Same question to you, Courtney. What do you think needs to happen? Michael Duff obviously is a much more defensive aspect, but what do Wednesday need to do to take advantage of the increase in space?
Well, I think for me, they've probably now got more room to play as they would normally do, play through the third. Also, though, what I will say, I think they've still got to proceed with a little bit of caution because Barnsley are used to playing out the ball. They're comfortable without having the ball, and if they do get free, obviously on the counter-attack, if Sheffield Wednesday get too excited and commit too many bodies forward, they're going to be in danger. So for me, they don't have to win it in the next 5 minutes. They just have to stay consistent, play the ball on the floor, and eventually they'll get their rewards. And especially on in terms of the weather, that's going to wear Barnsley out a lot more than normal as well.
Very hot day, as we've been saying. Not quite as hot as it was on Saturday, I don't think, but it's right up there. Barnsley have possession at the back, but Williams' clearance was a poor one. Wednesday trying to bring it forward down the left-hand side with Johnson. He's lost out. Ball ricochets through the midfield off Reece James. It's cleared and goes out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Harry Eisted for Barnsley.
Yeah, I think Norwood now has that kind of responsibility of dropping in, leaving Devante Cole up there to try and stretch the pitch. One of them has to kind of do that. If both of them come, it's going to be a very tough afternoon, but like you say, he's got that experience. Norwood will pick up the position and he'll be on the back of Bannon, Palmer, trying to force that area, and then that position, it's down to Devante Cole then to make those runs, make sure he's on side and try and make the ball stick so they can get up the pitch and support.
Here's Cadden. Barnsley bringing it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. He's on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He's taking it down towards the dead ball line, and although he hasn't won, of course, the next best thing, an opportunity for another one of these Bobby Thomas long throws inside that Wednesday box. And Barnsley, probably more than ever before now, likely to be reliant on a set piece. Only had 35% of the possession over the two legs with Bolton, yet they conceded only 3 shots on target. Defensively, they are very resolute. Can they nick one at the other end with the 10 men? Long throw inside the penalty area, headed away by James. Volley back towards goal, deflected onto the bar. Overhead kick back towards the edge of the 6-yard box is cleared by Wednesday, and then brought further down and away. And Williams is going to be able to mop up inside his own half of the centre circle. And no sooner have we said than the set piece might be their best avenue of a way into the lead in this game. They very nearly obliged. Little flick header and then onto the bar with the goalkeeper beaten, and the 10 men inches away from being 1-0 up.
Yeah, and actually it seems to have galvanised them a little bit, almost backs against the wall. That adversity, they feel a bit hard done to and probably playing their best football of the game.
There's the thoughts of Sheffield United striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. So the ball is played for James Norwood, making sure it doesn't go out of play for a Wednesday goal kick, but instead for a Wednesday throw in that left back area. Well, they were so close. I think it was Cadden that got the decisive touch. Long throw inside the penalty area, half clear, left-footed volley from Cadden, which was going wide. And then Kitching leaning back, just swivelling, steering a header onto the bar. They smacked off the face of the bar, didn't hit the top of the bar, it came right off the face of the bar. A couple of inches lower, hits the underside of the bar and goes in. Barnsley will be sensing at the moment that this isn't their day. Red card shown to Phillips. A couple of minutes earlier they should have had a penalty. VAR looked at it, didn't give it. And now they've hit the bar. Second half that's already seen infinitely more drama than the first, and we're only 10 minutes into it. Here's Barry Bannon for Wednesday. Down towards Johnson. Johnson's ball in towards Bannon. Clever inside the area. Bannon! Just over the bar. And everything just seemed to slow down for a moment as he got it onto his right foot and he hit it very deliberately towards that top right-hand corner, and it just sailed about a foot over the junction of post and bar.
Well, that's where he wants to be, Barry Bannon, receiving the ball in the 18-yard box, skips away from the challenge and just opens up the goal for him there, just tries to guide it into the top right-hand corner, and he knows himself by his reaction that he should be hitting the target there.
Yeah, you see Luke O'Connell defending, is steaming in, he stops last minute because the last thing he wants to do is give away a penalty. He puts him on his right foot, his weaker foot, but it wasn't far away.
7 goals Bannon's got this season. Here's Cadden, Barnsley's number 7 inside the area. Good save from Dawson. That's Barnsley's first shot on target. And the Tykes fans away at that end of the ground are delighted with the reaction that they've seen from their side since Phillips' dismissal. 2 good attempts, one's hit the bar, the other forcing a smart save there out of Dawson. And a free kick for the corner, I beg your pardon, the first of this second half, which will be another Connell away swinger from the Barnsley left. 57 on the clock, 0-0. In it comes, Norwood going up for it. It just hit him really inside the penalty area. He couldn't react quickly enough to do anything constructive with it. Ball sent by Williams. And towards the Barnsley left-hand side, Connell with another delivery too high for Kitching at the near post, headed away and then further cleared from the edge of the box. Back out towards Williams again. Right-footed ball chipped forward from the Barnsley man, but a little bit of painting by numbers, just hoping that somebody was going to make a run. Nobody did. And it nestles in the hands of Cam Dawson. 57 on the clock. Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Yeah, really impressive. Barnsley reacted really well to getting Phillips sent off. Well, I think they've got to manage the game well.
Wednesday, bringing it forward now, left-hand side of the area. Johnson, oh, nearly an own goal. Good save from Eisted. The cross came in and a lunging Barnsley defender came so close to steering it into his own net. Eisted reacting so well, got his left hand to it, and then was able to save on the follow-up as well.
He does so well, and it's a fantastic ball in, and that's what you say, put the ball in the area. It doesn't matter whether it comes off the defender or your player, it's going to cause chaos, and that was a prime example.
Yeah, Eisted there, great reaction as well. It's Thomas that just got a little touch from the Johnson cross. He's reacted well, but then Smith just couldn't make contact to that loose ball.
58 gone at 0-0. Devante Cole's gone down. Reece James not happy and is making his point to the Barnsley bench. The Sheffield Wednesday defender as well as the 4th official. Cole down, and just a little hiatus here might serve Barnsley. Doesn't need any treatment. He's been helped back up by Connell, will make his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. The referee has said no foul. He's given a throw which will be taken again on the Barnsley right hand side, and Bobby Thomas is going to take it. Bannon able to knock it away. And then brought back down through the midfield towards the edge of the penalty area again by Callum Patterson, his own penalty area, and he's played it forward up the right-hand side, knocked down by Cadden into space for Herbie Kane, chasing after it, and it's swept up by Domai Orfa. Out of play for a Barnsley throw. Their response has been very creditable.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's one of those, though. It's almost like a double-edged sword, because the Barnsley fans are probably thinking here, why didn't we play like this when we had 11, when we had a full complement on the field? But you've got to give credit, they've done really well so far.
Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Barnsley left-hand side. Level the edge of the Wednesday penalty area. Barnsley down to 10 men. 0-0 the score. Long throw inside the penalty area, flicked on at the near post area, and then headed away on the edge of the 6, back in from Connell, headed further clear by Bannon's, got it outside the Wednesday penalty area. Norwood winning it back, cleared by Bannon straight into Norwood. The loose ball ricochets forward towards Cole, all very scrappy. Connell can pick it up out towards the Barnsley right. Cadden on that side for a moment will play it inside the penalty area, but it's cleared, comes out for Williams to Connell misplacing his ball. Kitching just had to throw his left foot through it, and it goes out of play for a throw. Ian Abrahams reminds me, makes a very salient point, that James Norwood once scored a winner in a playoff final for a side that was down to 10 men at the time. So is Lightning going to strike twice? Tranmere against Forest Green, against Boreham Wood. I think it was the playoff final involved. Wednesday playing it forward, trying to get Lee Gregory in. He would have been offside. It's cleared anyway. Williams lets the ball bounce on the right-hand side of his own penalty area, and it's cleared. And he goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Sheffield Wednesday left-hand side. Well, the first half was worth sitting through for the second half we've got. And you can play the second half, no higher a compliment than that. 61 gone. 10-man Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. It's come to life. Ihikwe through the centre circle to find Iorfa, and back for Ihikwe again. And having controlled it, he just pops it off to his left-hand side for James. James Spore for Barry Bannon. Bannon, his 357th Sheffield Wednesday appearance, just flicking it to his left. James will take it on again. Chance for Johnson to deliver. Deflection on the cross, headed away. Bounces back for Norwood on the edge of his own box, and now it's Jordan Williams who will be able to bring the ball forward, but not too far, because he showed too much of it to James, who can shepherd it back via a Hickory to his goalkeeper Cam Dawson. 17 gone, second half.
That's what Barnsley are having to do now, just keep a little bit more possession. Excellent play from Norwood there, the way to pass to Williams, who's making that underlap. Just Williams needs another option. Can he bounce it into Devante Cole? Just keep possession of the ball. If anything, come back out and try and recycle it.
Now Wednesday working forward to the edge of the penalty area. Smith down to Johnson again. Johnson, Bannon, bring it forward. Bannon's left-footed ball curving inside the penalty area. Didn't have enough height. Headed away by Liam Kitching. Goes back out to the Sheffield Wednesday right again. Coming forward, Iorfa on the overlap. That one's easily cleared. Kitching has done a sterling job, being in the right place at the right time. And he gets it away. Gregory urges the Wednesday fans to give a little bit more noise. There's a throw to Wednesday, but there'll be a delay because the Barnsley player is Herbie Kane over there. Has just gone down injured for a moment. He's helped back to his feet by the referee, and play will continue with the Sheffield Wednesday throw. You're with talksport. We've played 63 minutes. 10-man Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Space on the Wednesday left-hand side. Throw taken on the right. Work back through the defensive line from Ihikwe to James. Back for Bannon, the blonde-head Scotsman, working it into the feet on the edge of the area. James is still there, set up for Windus, couldn't get himself into a shooting position. Then when he does, he's dragged it well wide. Now to play for a goal kick to Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes are getting overrun at the minute now. You're looking at Connell, Kane, Norwich dropping back into that position, but Sheffield Wednesday are just completely dominant, moving the ball well. It's all about players like Iorfa there, having that option to go down the right-hand side, at will. I think Norwich switching off for a little bit, allowing Reece James to kind of get away from them there. You have to make sure defensively your concentration levels are through the roof and you're sticking to your men.
And it might suit Barnsley. They've played their best football since they went down to 10 men, and just talk about the possession and how they were a better side without the ball. And this statistic illustrates that. About 25 games over the course of the league season and the playoffs where they've had under 50% possession. In those 25 games, they've won 19. As the ball is played forward, and a free kick is given Barnsley's way on the edge of the penalty area as Gregory attacked it, but he ended up being the instigator of the contact, and a free kick has been given. So it's 19 wins in 25 games when they've had the minority of possession. The other 23 games when they've had more of the ball than the opposition, they've only won 8.
They've got to choose their moments though, Jim. I think here, they had that little reaction. Then all of a sudden, 5, 6, 7 minutes, they're on top. Then they've got to kind of defend and weather the storm, get themselves ready to go again. But it's going to be very, very difficult for them to maintain that. But they have to still have that threat.
Barnsley working forward, Norwood helping it on. It's cleared before it gets to Cole. Hickory putting it out of play. There's just a little bit of a conflab going on now in the Barnsley technical area. Messrs Duff, Patterson and Devaney just deciding exactly what they should do. Do they need to make another change? They may want a half-time where Tedic came off and Lord came on. And Lord's led into his man here as he tries to get on the end of a long throw and has fouled him. And Hickory back on his feet straight away, but a free kick which will be taken by Cam Dawson for Sheffield Wednesday. 20 gone in the second half. Second half in which Adam Phillips has been sent off for Barnsley, but it remains 0-0, and Barnsley's best football's come after that red card. Smith just getting himself involved there with Thomas, who went down holding his face. He's quickly back on his feet. Barnsley have it with Kitching working it through the lines towards Nord, who's made a real difference. It's coming on. That's a great turn. Got the better of the Hickory. Plays it out to the Barnsley left-hand side. Another chance for Cadden. Cadden back towards halfway. Fall from Anderson now. Anderson, Cadden trying to take it on. Nord wins it back. Nord stabbing it through the penalty area. Optimistic attempt to find Cole, but needed defending. And it's put out of play by Hickory for another long Bobby Thomas throw for Barnsley. Can they get one of these to stick?
Well, this is their best chance, isn't it? They've got fantastic long throws, and what Chris said earlier in terms of you've got to manage the moments when you're in the final third and you've got good opportunities. Yes, let's attack it with all you can, but they can't do that physically, for too long, being down to 10 players. So then when they defend, they've got to make sure they're setting and in their positions, and also not get done on the balance now on the counter-attack.
66 gone, you with talksport. That's Courtney Sweetman, Kirk, Chris Uwellamo here as well alongside me, Jim Proudfoot. It's 0-0. Throw inside the penalty area is headed away easily by James. Almost to halfway, where it goes back out of play for another throw that will be taken on the Barnsley left. We've got 3 European finals coming up for you over the course of the next fortnight or so here on TalkSport. Wednesday, the Europa League. Is Jose going to be successful with Roma? They take on Sevilla as we go to a drinks break here at Wembley. That's Wednesday night, an 8 o'clock kickoff on TalkSport. We've got the FA Cup final coming up for you on Saturday. We've got West Ham in Prague against Fiorentina a week Wednesday. We've got the Champions League final live from Istanbul. Manchester City against Inter Milan a week on Saturday. It's all to come for you here on TalkSport today. You're listening to Sheffield Wednesday against Barnsley in the EFL League 1 final. And it's live on TalkSport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. And of course the refreshment break gives both managers the opportunity to get a few more tactical nuances across, to assess what's been going well, what needs further improvement.
Well, what I'm looking at there, I'm surprised. A long throw in for Barnsley there. Sheffield Wednesday are still bringing everyone back. Surely they've got to leave someone up. That then affects the advanced players for Barnsley, because they've got to have a kind of eye on what they've got to do defensively. So that's from corners, long throws, whatever it is. Sheffield Wednesday have to have that belief that defensively they can go and do a job.
Yeah, 100%. This is where we were saying, even before Barnsley went down to 10 men, at some point you've got to throw caution to the wind. That's the perfect example, is overload them at the back, see what they do, because then that might bring Barnsley players back, but they're just not giving it the opportunity at the minute Wednesday.
Now the official temperature in North London today, incidentally, is 17 degrees. It's a little bit hotter than that pitch side. And Sheffield Wednesday defending in the half of the field that is in shadow. That shadow now is almost exactly on the halfway line. And Harry Iceland, the Barnsley goalkeeper, the only man that's in the sunshine at the moment. The other 20 on the field are all in the shadow. Another team in the shadows at the moment, metaphorically speaking, as we get back underway. Barnsley down to 10 men. Very good value though for parity. 0-0 Barnsley will feel that they should have had a penalty early on in the second half, immediately prior to the red card for Phillips. Here's Bannon. Barnsley have hit the bar. That's as close as either have come. Bannon almost with a pass of the match. Just too long for Gregory. He picked it up inside his own half and he flighted one towards the edge of the penalty area. Beautiful delivery. It just died about a yard ahead of Gregory, almost perfect.
This is where Barnsley have got to be careful. So Williams there goes charging out to press, but you've got to be 100% sure you're going to win the ball there. He doesn't, he gets caught out, and then Sheffield Wednesday are on the attack.
Clearance comes from Eistad. Long ball forward, Norwood going up for it. Cleared by the Wednesday back line. Johnson hanging a high one forward. Again, the bounce, but not favouring the defenders, but Wes Anderson did well, and he gets it back for Eistad. Go back to March the 11th, so it's 2.5 months ago. Wednesday 5 points clear of Ipswich with 2 games in hand. From that point onwards, Plymouth took 27 points from 10, Ipswich 26 points from 10, Wednesday 19 from 12. As they've shown in the playoff semi-finals, don't ever believe in doing anything the easy way. 0-0 at the moment. We've got 20 minutes of normal time to go. Barnsley are poised to make a double change very shortly. They've got a corner to defend first though, which is only the second that Wednesday have won in the entire game. It's Benson and Luke Thomas who are going to be coming on for Barnsley. They won't do it yet while they've got a corner to defend. Bannon will take this corner and he spots it down very deliberately, just about on the quadrant, giving the best possible chance to swing one in left-footed and get plenty of swerve on the ball. Delivered deep towards the penalty spot and headed back over the bar by Hickway and out of play for a goal kick, and the double change will be made. Let's see which 2 Barnsley players are going to be coming off. First one's Herbie Kane. Kane, who has won all 4 of the games he's played in his career against Sheffield Wednesday. So he's coming off, and Devante Cole is the other player coming off. The players coming on, Josh Benson, midfielder who scored a last-minute winner at Middlesbrough in a League Cup tie earlier this season. He's got Premier League experience, fleetingly for Burnley. So he's coming on, and Luke Thomas will come on up front. Only a couple of goals for him this season. He can play as a 9, he can play as a 10. But he's going to be playing through the middle, seemingly, the blonde-haired striker. Just giving a few instructions to Luke O'Connell as he comes on. So it looks as though he's going to be playing off Norwood, who will be the focal point of the attack for the 10 men. We've got 18 minutes to go. And it's still 10-man Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Courtney.
I'm just interested to know what Michael Duff is thinking when the ball goes back to Eistad. He's, taking his time with it, which I, completely understand at this point. But are they thinking, right, we're going to chance it? Do you want to go to extra time? But in this heat, physicality with 10 players, do you really think that's realistic? Or, are they waiting? They're trying to eke it out a little bit and then going to give it a real good go maybe in the last 15 minutes?
It's such a difficult dynamic to try and get right, isn't it? When you're down to 10 men on a day that is strength sapping, both physically and emotionally as well, making sure that you give yourself your best chance. I agree with you that trying to play from here with 10 men to get the penalties is hugely dangerous, but you just can't commit too many bodies forward because of the numerical disadvantage. How long do you leave yourself to give it a really good go? 15 minutes? 5 minutes? I mean, what's the right answer?
No, that's the question, isn't it? But I think the goalkeeper has a massive part to play. He can slow it down, he can speed it up when he feels it's right to do so. I think they're going to obviously weather the storm, defend well, but even the changes that he's made, he's bringing on fresh legs and those attacking areas, because without the ball it does zap the body a lot more so.
Wednesday are in possession, bringing it out from the back with Reece James playing it forward. Wednesday haven't made a single change as yet. Reece James has got it again. Johnson showing for the ball. It's a good progressive ball down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Windus laying it back. Another chance to deliver inside the box, headed away easily by Anderson, and Windus will let it run. Doesn't try and play it on the touchline. Lets it run out of play for a throw that will be taken. Love Dean Windus' a comment in that interview that he gave at half-time to Ian Abrahams, incidentally, when he was talking about his playoff winner. He said, the playoff winner 15 years ago, Josh was only 12, now he's 29. Still trying to work it out. Free kick which will be taken by Barnsley just outside their own penalty area. There's some story of a second generation player from the same family managed to score the winning goal in a big playoff game. And Josh Windus has the opportunity to do exactly that. 16 minutes to go. Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. I said again, just slowing things down, preparing to take this free kick from the edge of the D. Whacks it forward, going up for it is Norwood. And Norwood and Ihikwe involved in a very good battle throughout the course of this second half after Norwood came on at the break. Ball back from Connell, opportunity for Benson. Benson slipping it off to his right-hand side for Williams rather than getting himself into a shooting position. Benson gets it again, plays the way that he's facing. Back towards Bobby Thomas. Nicely taken by him. Under a little bit of pressure. Just dragged the ball back inside. Finding Benson the substitute for Barnsley. Still 0-0 here on talksport, 15 to go. Williams trying to pop it off through the midfield. Couldn't find Connell. Connell having to go in with a sharp challenge. He won it fairly. And now getting it back. He's played it out towards Norwood. Norwood on the Barnsley right-hand side, waiting for a little bit of movement ahead of him. Taken down towards the corner flag by Benson, and he wins a throw. Now we know what's happening next.
Yeah, we do, but just in that passage of play, Wednesday, they've got to be more aggressive when Barnsley have got it at the back. So I think it's Smith that goes to press, and Gregory drops in the half space almost. Go and press the next defender, because you've got an extra player. I don't understand what they're doing.
Bobby Thomas to take this throw, and again, that white towel was getting gainful employment. It's dried the ball, dried his hands of the sweat. And now runs up towards the touchline, launches inside the penalty area. It's hit Kitching again, who wins a lot of second ball from those set pieces, but he couldn't get the touch that he wanted. Luke Thomas over on the Barnsley left has done well. He's kept it in. Barnsley won another throw. Now Cadden will maintain possession. Now it's put out of play for a throw. Is Bobby Thomas going to chop from the right over to the left to take it? No, he's not. Barnsley have retaken the throw very quickly to maintain possession. And they got it with Connell. Connell down the left-hand touchline. Cadden gives it straight back to him. The Irishman back for Williams. Williams to Connell again. Connell on halfway, clipping it, left-footed down the line. Chased by Luke Thomas, who's got the ground, no foul. Wednesday knock it away. High ball over halfway, which is headed back towards halfway by Anderson, and then punted forward by Williams. Norwood just giving a little shove off the ball there by Ihikwe as the two came to meet it. Barnsley winning it, Norwood taking it on. He couldn't get past the men in blue and white on that far touchline. It was very well defended. Will Volks is going to be coming on for Wednesday soon, probably the next break in play. And Sheffield Wednesday will bring it forward towards halfway. 13 minutes of normal time to go. Barry Bannon in possession. Brings it over halfway. It's come as close as anybody in a Wednesday shirt to breaking the deadlock today. Johnson, high ball inside the penalty area from him. Headed down, right-footed volley was potentially going to be close. It was knocked away by the Barnsley contingent on the edge of the box. Beautifully struck with real venom. Bannon helping another one over the top. It's going to be chased by Williams. He's gone out of play for a goal kick. The referee says no. And now the assistant referee on the far touchline does put his flag up, and it was just over the line before James could pull it back. 12 to go. 0-0 between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday will make their first change. And it's Patterson coming off and Will Volks coming on to replace him. Chris?
Again, yeah, I think using the ball, you can see Barnsley were on top. They looked like they had the extra man, the way that they're patient, moving the ball around. Because Wednesday, as soon as they got the ball back in that transition, they were just giving it straight back to Barnsley. And they were having the bravery to get the ball down, play. The movement was good, just keeping possession, just trying to create a different angle for the ball to go into that attacking third.
So the change sees Volks come on in the centre of midfield, and Palmer will go back out to his more customary position on the right-hand side of the back line, taking Patterson's place. Cadden angling one over the top, which will be chased by Norwood on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, he's beaten James, and he shot from a tight angle at the near post. And the goalkeeper got a hand to it to help it on its way. Actually, might have hit the outside of the post and gone wide. Dawson in no position to take a chance there. And it's a corner.
Outstanding. Norwood chasing everything, aggression, making it happen. On a defensive point of view from Wednesday, they have to be better. Go make a decision, take responsibility. Don't put your head on it, clear the danger. But Norwood made it all himself, got the shot away.
He does extremely well. That determination, working hard, makes something out of nothing. Don't blame him for taking the shot on. Or do think Luke Thomas though was at the back stick ready for a tap in.
Corner to Barnsley. Come on, you Reds. The song from our right. In it comes by Benson. And Wednesday get touches 1, 2 and 3 inside the penalty area, but the third, a high up and under, doesn't really effectively clear their lines. Wednesday now on the counter-attack. Out comes the goalkeeper Eisted, and he was 20 yards outside his box when he cleared from Bannon. A little bit of finger pointing going on between Bannon and Anderson, with the Barnsley defender the instigator of that, I think. He wasn't happy with something that had happened, or maybe something that had been said. The pair of them just squaring up to each other for a moment, but quickly is calmed down. But that's Wednesday's chance on the counter-attack as Barnsley, when they do flood the penalty area for these attacking set pieces, if Wednesday can turn it over, then they've got a great chance on the counter. Eisted, alive to that, did well. Johnson getting it in towards the near post for Wednesday. The Gregory in there battling, does well, holds it up, plays it back for Barry Bannon. 9 minutes of normal time to go, it's 0-0. 10 men of Barnsley hanging on here as Bannon plays it inside the penalty area, and it drifts out of play for a goal kick. I say they're hanging on there. They're not really hanging on there. They're maintaining parity is probably a better way of putting it. It doesn't really feel as though it's a backs-to-the-wall defensive job, and if anything, Barnsley are still in a position that they're asking the better questions. It's been an excellent response, a very brave response since that red card for Phillips just over half an hour ago. Yeah, and it shows the determination, the physicality of the players, and obviously the manager, the tactical input that he's had. It's been extremely impressive. Goal kick to be taken by Eisted, and again in no hurry. It's good distance on it. Sent spinning over the halfway line. Norwood going up for it. Loose ball might break Luke Thomas's way, and it does so over on the Barnsley left-hand side. And the blonde-haired forward controlling it, turning, playing it out to the left. Cadden coming back infield, finding Connell, who has caught the eye again today, as he has all season. He's played nearly 50 games in this first season that he's had in English football after his success north of the border. Bannon, he's turned it forward. It hit the arm of Williams from close range, but free kick given. And Wednesday looking to take it on halfway. Bannon bellowing at Lee Gregory, telling him to get the ball back to him so he can take it as quickly as possible. Bannon has it now. And he's worked it through the midfield and out to the right-hand side of the Sheffield Wednesday back line. Palmer back through to Ihigwe, to James, to Bannon again, forcing Ihigwe to turn and go back for his goalkeeper Cam Dawson. We're in the 83rd minute, it's 0-0. And the ball goes out towards the right-hand side of that Wednesday back line for Liam Palmer. Now punted down towards the Wednesday left. Johnson able to control it on his left thigh. He's followed every step of the way by Williams. He's laid it back for Bannon. Good movement comes on the Wednesday right from Palmer. Not the best ball to find it from Bannon. He had to retrace his steps for a moment, so he could only head it on to keep it in, and Kitching is able to clear. Then it comes back into the Barnsley midfield again before another Tykes header will alleviate the threat. Wednesday making their numerical advantage count with some better possession now. 83 on the clock, 0-0. Barnsley been down to 10 men since the 50th minute after Phillips' red card. Ball out of play for a Wednesday throw, taken quickly by Johnson. Johnson to James. A reminder that Mauricio Pochettino has been confirmed as the new manager of Chelsea. Not the best kept secret in the industry. As Barnsley will play their way out of the penalty area, but you have your chance to react to that appointment and to this League 1 Play-off final and everything else that's happened over the last weekend of the regular season in the Premier League. It's all with Jamie O'Hara on the sports bar following us today. We'll have all the reaction. We'll hear from the headline makers and the managers as well at the end of this game. Norwood has won a free kick, which Barnsley will be very grateful to take. 5 yards inside their own half. 84 on the clock. 0-0.
For me, it's been excellent since he's come on. That centre forward play been absolutely brilliant, holding it up there, and the attack before that, when he initially wins the header, he's got absolutely no right to win it. I think he charges about 15 yards across just to get the header on the ball. He's been excellent.
For Sheffield Wednesday, I've got to say, I think Windass and Gregory, they've got to kind of give a little bit more, in possession of the ball, dropping into that number 10 role. That's where all the space is. They're just basically allowing themselves to be marked by the defensive line of Barnsley.
A crowd of just a shade over 74,000 today. 44,000 of those from Sheffield Wednesday. And it's still 0-0, still very close to call, and for all the reasons that Courtney outlined earlier, you would imagine the longer the game goes, the more it'll play into Wednesday's hands, but very little between them. When you consider the lack of numerical parity that we've had for more than half an hour, that's to the credit of Michael Duff's men. Had Wednesday's number in the regular season, are they going to have it again today when they've been a man light for most of the game, or most of the second half? Ball out of play for another throw, which will be taken on the Barnsley left, but it's only just inside Wednesday territory. The shadow just creeping slowly into the Barnsley half of the field now. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Connell playing it forward. Lord going down over on the far side, but trying to make something out of nothing. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Sheffield Wednesday. 4 minutes of normal time to go, plus maybe 5 minutes added on the end of the first half, maybe 4 minutes at the end of the second. The VAR check for the red card, another one for the penalty, and a few substitutions as well, so probably 4 or 5 minutes to be added, maybe another 8 or 9 minutes then to be played. And he'll go to extra time if there's no winner. Goal now may well make the difference in a fixture that the first goal always felt as though it could be of paramount importance anyway. Neither of these teams have lost a single game this season from 1-0 up, which just shows you the importance of the breakthrough. We haven't had one yet. James with the ball forward. Bannon is able to pick the ball up in the midfield. Barnsley done well to win it back with Josh Benson, but he's lost it as quickly as he won it. Johnson now to bring the ball down the Sheffield Wednesday left, and then as he played the ball forward, Benson crumpled to the ground. I don't know whether he's got an ankle problem there, but the way that he went down suggests that could be quite serious. He's now back up on his feet and trying to run it off. Meanwhile, Cadden's got it, the other end of the field, left-hand side of the penalty area for Barnsley. Trying to twist his way through, and he delivers a brilliant ball right through the 6-yard box. No Barnsley player anywhere near it to tap it in.
Well, they have to. I think Norwood is holding the ball up. Great little weight of pass to Cadden as well. They need to be breaking on it, because in those little moments, Norwood's done his job, Cadden's done his job. Someone has to be in the 6-yard box, and if they are, they're getting on, then they're going to be an opportunity there.
Well, Barnsley will take another long throw. Bobby Thomas sauntering forward, no quicker than that, to make his way down to where the loose ball is on the right-hand touchline. Flicks it up with his right boot into his hands, goes across, uses that handily placed towel again. Once more dries the ball, dries his hands, makes his way back towards the hoardings, and now 3-4 steps forward, hurls it inside the penalty area. First contact came from Iorfa as a good defensive header. Wednesday will be able to blast it clear upfield. Windus beaten to it though by Williams, headed on by Cadden, and helped intelligently through the midfield, but just too much on the ball forward for Josh Windus, as it was a sidewinder from Will Vox, but just too much on it, and it goes through for Eisted. And Barnsley are 2 minutes away from getting this to extra time. But talked about the way that Benson had gone down, the Barnsley substitute, about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and now that the ball is safely in the hands of his goalkeeper, he's gone down again, and this does not look good. An ankle problem for him seemingly. It was all after he'd tried to block a ball that was played forward, and the ball didn't make any contact with him, and all of a sudden he just seemed to break his stride. I don't know whether he turned his ankle there, but I think Barnsley are going to have to make a change. They're getting Russell ready.
Well, I'm looking at that there, and I'm not a lip reader, but I lip read the words broken, and you know, the way that he's looking at it there, that you just hope it's nothing as serious. He's pulled up. It looks like his ankle was twisted inwards, but they're definitely making the change. He cannot carry on. Looks like a lot of discomfort as well.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for him. Coming on at Wembley in a position that he might have been able to make an impact as a substitute. He's only been on the field for 17 minutes when they have to make the change. So he will come off. And John Russell will come on, a former Chelsea player signed from Huddersfield. He played in the Championship Play-off final last season, and will come on into the League 1 Play-off final this season. I'm hoping that the afternoon ends slightly better than that one did a year ago. A year ago today, incidentally, May the 29th, Forest won promotion last season live on talksport. So Russell on for Barnsley, and Benson, the man that has come off. So confirmation of that Barnsley change. Play will resume with the Barnsley goalkeeper. We're into stoppage time at the end of the game, and there will be 5 minutes from the restart here. 5 minutes for either of these sides to find a winner without it going to extra time.
Yeah, and I think this is the moment for Barnsley. They've got 5 big minutes now. As I say, I don't think extra time will, serve them very well. I think they'd ideally rather get it done in normal time, but it was just interesting on that last phase. It's the first time that Sheffield Wednesday left the player up from the long throw. It was just Windass, and they nearly got in from it, so maybe that's a sign of things to come.
Long clearance from Iceland, straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wednesday left. Goal for either side now surely wins it and seals promotion. Wednesday trying to get back at the third attempt. Barnsley the second attempt, I beg your pardon. Barnsley at the first after their relegation last season. Only a couple of years ago they were in the Championship Play-offs, beaten at the semi-final stage by Swansea. Wednesday in possession, 10 yards inside their own half. It is 0-0. We're in the second minute of added time at the end of normal time. Ihikwe down towards the Wednesday left-hand side. Johnson back for Reece James, the younger brother of Bristol City's Matty James. Now Windass, little give and go, and the darting movement out towards the right-hand side. Wednesday haven't really been able to get him as heavily involved as they would like. James has it once more, down towards Bannon. Bannon coming in off the left flank. Loud from him, goes back for James, and played forward down the line, but easily cleared or easily watched over the line, as it turned out, from Bobby Thomas. Looks as though he's going to clear it, and then just let the ball run. And then Gregory is having a moan at the lack of quality of the through ball that was played. Eisted has handed the ball, and again just meanders into the 6-yard box. He's the old pro trick of even going out to the far side of the 6-yard box to take the goal kick. He's not actually. He's not going to run that much time off the clock. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time play. Eisted taking this goal kick. Launched forward long. Norwood trying to hold it up. Flicked it on, but away from Connell. And will be cleared by Palmer down to Sheffield Wednesday right. Smith goes up for it. Gregory can't get to the bouncing ball. Now Williams turns it for Barnsley back to his goalkeeper.
Quality from back to front from Sheffield Wednesday has been poor. I think Gregory, Smith just feeding off scraps at the minute, all fight balls, no quality. They're playing very individual as well. They need to have that relationship. If Smith's contesting it and Barnsley aren't winning it cleanly, Sheffield Wednesday have to be picking up those second balls, and they aren't doing that at the minute.
Well, I would imagine Peterborough fans will be looking at this and wondering how this Wednesday side scored 5 against them in 120 minutes. And the chances have been so rare today. First 25 minutes of this second half had a fair few. Barnsley actually with the better of them, for Kitching hitting the bar the closest that anybody has come. 90 seconds to go in terms of the actual stats of the game. Possession 50-50, as near as makes no difference. 8 attempts for Barnsley, 10 for Sheffield Wednesday. Only 5 shots on target between the pair of them. Smith helping it on towards the edge of the penalty area. It's cleared. Bannon chesting it down. A man that knows what it takes to win a playoff final. Did it with Blackpool 13 years ago. And down towards the Wednesday left, and Johnson has done well. He's turned away from Luke Thomas. Layoff from Bannon. Back to Johnson, went behind him. Reece James supplying the width on the Wednesday left. Left-footed ball swung inside the penalty area, is headed away, and Connell will be able to volley it to further safety for Barnsley. Norwood trying to make something of a fight ball. Johnson comes back and aids a Hickwish cause. Finds Olfa. He will play to his right-hand side for Will Vokes. And with 4 minutes and 20 seconds gone in stoppage time, Barry Bannon will bring it forward for Sheffield Wednesday. Bannon out towards the Wednesday right. Barnsley with nearly everybody back. Flicked on inside the box. A tired attempt to try and win it. Russell's clearance is poor. It's Bannon and it's over the bar. And that, I think, will see us through to extra time.
Yeah, literally as soon as Bannon hit that, he's cramping up now. He's stretching, and that's just showing the physical toll of what this has taken out of these players today.
Yeah, he's down almost doing press-ups, just trying to stretch that hamstring out. Barry Bannon, a lot of miles on the clock. 33-year-old, 550 games for club and country. As near as makes no difference. Harry Eistedt to take this goal kick, and it may well be the last kick of the 19th minutes. Just given the hurry up there by referee Tim Robinson, who puts the whistle to mouth. Well, we saw it in the Championship Play-off final, we've seen it in the League 2 Play-off final, in the National League Play-off final, and we've got it in the League 1 Play-off final as well. 90 minutes can't separate them. Barnsley down to 10 men for most of that second half, but more than hung in there. It's 0-0 after 90. We're going to extra time. Adrian, thank you very much indeed. Well, which of the two sides are going to be able to run the full course? The 49th game of their league campaign, and it's extended by at least another half an hour, potentially by penalties as well. And it has been an object lesson really in many ways from Wednesday, how not to play against 10 men.
Yeah, they haven't used that extra man at all. It's about keeping possession, making Barnsley work for everything that they're getting out of the game at the minute. But I just think the quality on the ball has been poor. They're going from back to front. It's bouncing straight back. You know, it's coming. Barnsley are getting it down. They're using it. They're patient. They're being more composed, and that's what you expect from Sheffield Wednesday in this position.
Okay, we're back underway. First period of extra time in the League 1 Play-off final. And it's Sheffield Wednesday in possession. They're kicking from left to right towards the end of the ground that houses the Barnsley fans. And Barry Bannon's got it. And we need that Wednesday to happen much more readily than it has. They've got a corner right at the start of extra time. It's only taken them 20 seconds to win it. A decent ball fired in, took a deflection. And the first corner of extra time is only Wednesday's third of the game. And Bannon will go out to take it. Palmer's made his way forward. And he's scored probably just about as many goals for Wednesday this season as in the rest of his Owls career put together. Can he get another important one here? Left-footed ball swung inside the penalty area. Flick header came from Bobby Thomas to get it away. Vokes will be able to pick it up. Back it goes to Reece James, the deepest of the Wednesday outfield players. Everything ahead of him. He's fired it out to the left flank, and Bannon has won another throw, which will be taken about 10 yards from the corner flag over on that far side.
For me, Sheffield Wednesday in that second half, they just weren't brave enough. I think there were so many opportunities where they leave the extra player up and ask the question of Barnsley and never quite did. So let's see if they can do that in this extra time.
So another opportunity from a long throw. Will Vokes will throw it long inside the penalty area. It's a great throw. Cleared out as far as Bannon. The referee's position did Wednesday few favours, but he could play the ball back out for Will Vokes. Header comes in and it's cleared off the line. Barnsley doing well to get the bodies back in the right place at the right time to be able to deal with the threat. A header that didn't have a huge amount of power, and Barnsley could sweep it away. Back from Bannon to James. James again bringing it forward. Left-footed, clipped towards the edge of the penalty area, headed away. Kitching dealing with that threat. Back out towards Bannon. Bannon down the right-hand touchline. Will Vokes, he's got the angle wrong on that attempted cross. And it goes straight into the Barnsley supporters at that end of the ground and out of play for a goal kick. 92 gone, 10-man Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Yeah, but much better. Great ball in, attacked well by the author, does everything right. You know, he steers it goalwards and it's Mid-Anson on the goal line, just gets the clearance, but better pressure from Wednesday, using the ball, better movement, options in wide areas and quality coming into the box.
This is how the two teams line up. Barnsley, Iceland in goal, Bobby Thomas, Anderson and Kitching the back three, Williams and Cadden out wide, Connell and Russell in central midfield. Russell who came on for Benson, who had come on for Kane, and then Luke Thomas who came on for Cole in support of Norwood, who came on for Tedic. The Wednesday side, Dawson in goal, Alfred Hickwey and James, Palmer, Bannon, Vokes, Johnson, Smith, Windus and Gregory as a rotating front three. Phillips, the man sent off for Barnsley early in the second half. Barry Bannon in possession, working it down the left-hand touchline for Sheffield Wednesday towards the corner flag. And he delivers. That hits Williams. And Johnson still will be able to drag the ball back. He's done really well. Bannon, chance for him to measure a delivery here. Back he goes for Johnson. Johnson back for Bannon. Now Bannon will scoop it in left-footed, and Iceland comes out and claims it. He's done well today. We talked earlier, he's got, for a player of his age, he's 28, the fact that he's played less than 30 senior games in his career means, firstly, he's a good pro, because a lot of clubs have wanted him around, but secondly, the nerves will be there when you've played such little senior football at that age of your career.
Yeah, he's making the decisions, coming out, making that decision early, being brave, coming collected, and that's what you want. You know, I think Sheffield Wednesday had an opportunity to put the ball in a little bit earlier, a little bit laboured. You know, put Barnsley under that pressure. Don't let them get set, because I think they're defending really well.
Wednesday bring it forward again. Box down towards Liam Palmer. Palmer is making his 397th Wednesday appearance today. Man that scored the equaliser, or aggregate equaliser, in the 8th minute of stoppage time of that second leg against Peterborough in the semi-finals. Now rash challenge from Bobby Thomas as Bannon got past him. It was a genuine attempt to win the ball, but he mistimed it. He gets a yellow card. And Bannon has won a free kick down near the corner flag here for Wednesday.
I'm surprised Bannon took that on, actually, because a couple of seconds earlier I thought he didn't put the ball in the box when he could, and I wondered if that cramp in the that we saw, was that in the back of his mind, because once it sets in it's so difficult to get rid of. But great piece of play there.
A handshake between Bobby Thomas and Barry Bannon after the challenge. An apology from Thomas, caught his man. Free kick to be taken on that Wednesday left-hand side. Bannon's actually walked away from the area. So it's going to be, I think, a right-footed in-swinging delivery instead. And this is going to be another test for Eistad, who's got so much traffic in front of him. And he's shown that he's a brave goalkeeper. He'll take responsibility in this kind of situation. Doesn't have to this time, because it was hitting low in towards the near post and sliced away on the edge of the 6-yard box, out of play for another corner, which will be taken on the Wednesday left. And they've won as many corners in the first 6 minutes of extra time as they did in the first 90 minutes. Bannon waits on the edge of the penalty area for any loose pickings that might come his way. Plenty of aerial targets inside that 6-yard box for Wednesday to try and hit here. More air underneath it, headed away easily by the Barnsley back line. Comes back out for Bannon. Oh, it's off the roof of the net. It was dipping, but just didn't quite dip in time. Beautifully struck with his left foot from 25 yards out. Got the shape right, just too high.
Yeah, it's fantastic technique again from Bannon. I think Eisted's comfortable. He's kind of read the flight of the ball, knows exactly where he is in his goal. But like you said, he's probing 3 Sheffield Wednesday players free at the edge of the box from long throws, set pieces. You know, that is a concern.
Sheffield Wednesday not quite turning the screw, but they're having the majority of possession now. They're having it in quite good areas, that little flurry of set pieces. Barnsley looking to respond here as we approach the midway stage of the first period of extra time on talksport. Ball comes in from Cadden. The referee had spotted an infringement before he got there. That's a free kick which will be taken by Wednesday just outside their own penalty area with Dawson. I think at the stage of the game as a fan, And I know from experience, having supported a team in extra time in playoffs that ultimately ended in both success and failure, it's very tough to watch when you're in these circumstances. Whether your side's on top, whether you feel that they're hanging on, you can barely watch. You're almost watching through your hands at this stage, no matter how things are going. The Wednesday fans who are in front of us are motionless, many arms folded across the body. His body language specialists would have a field day, just people watching in these circumstances. But then men in blue and white, the Barnsley men in red, still very game here. Windus on the edge of the Barnsley penalty area, trying to make something happen. Oh, what a save from Eisted! He took a deflection in front of him, he got a right hand to it and tip it away. That was the best save of the game. Magnificent stop. Windus denied, and it keeps it at 0-0. Wednesday will bring it forward again. Windus not back on his feet after going down inside the penalty area after that. Now he is, and he's making his way back out of the box. Well, that was as close as either side have come. That was a superb piece of goalkeeping by Harry Eisted. Back he goes for a Hickwin. Everything still in Barnsley territory. Bannon trying to make a run down the left-hand side. Ball didn't find him. Barnsley will look to try and break forward quickly on the counter-attack. Connell stabbing it forward. Well defended by Hickwin. Stuck out a right foot and he had to. So he had Williams making his way forward from centre-half for Barnsley to try and make a third-man run into a dangerous area. Josh Windus picking it up on the Wednesday right. Back for Will Volks. Volks to Bannon. Bannon 20 yards outside the penalty area. Reece James comes forward, slips it to his left. Johnson through a crowd and cleared at the near post by Barnsley. High up and under, ball back in, heading towards the far post, sliced away. It'll drop inside the penalty area still, but Iorfa couldn't make anything happen, and Barnsley once more will look to try and bring it away. It's a tired attempt to do so, but the decision goes against Volks, who was judged to have left the foot in and caught his man. Free kick to Barnsley. They're very grateful to hear the whistle blow there, because Wednesday have been much the better side in extra time.
Yeah, I think it's down to Barnsley just sitting in and basically just defending. I don't know if they're trying to just manage the game and get into the second part of extra time and then give it a little push, but they've not been a threat at all. Norwich dropping really deep. There's no outlet when they get possession of the ball, and just they're allowing Sheffield Wednesday to come into the box from all different angles. Windass, fantastic little bit of play, came across. I think he still goes from a defensive touch, but Eisted should not be able to make that save. What a reaction save it was. Good strong right hand.
Yeah, it took a deflection from the cross. It might have hit Anderson, but Smith then got a foot to it. He was 3.5 yards out. Eisted's only about 4 feet away from him, and he somehow stuck out a right hand. It's an exceptional save.
Yeah, he's just got absolutely no right to get to it, but he's on his front foot. He's making himself big, hoping for the best, and he gets a big hand to it. That could be massive in the context of this tie.
Can Smith go with his head there? Should he go with his head? His foot's had to come really high there.
I love the way that you're asking me that.
I think you should come with his head there then, Jim.
Okay. Listen, that is a header. That's at the height for me. That's a header all day long. But that's what comes when you're 5'4". Here's Palmer bringing the ball forward. Long ball launched towards the edge of the penalty area by Sheffield Wednesday. Again, Smith trying to turn. And the break on the left-hand side of the box. It's Bannon! And Eisted can knock that one away as well. He's keeping the minute. He's had an exceptional game. If Barnsley get the job done here, he's the man of the match. Wednesday asking some pretty serious questions of him now. And they have another corner which Volks will go across the town.
I'll have to say Michael Smith, excellent hold-up play as well. I've got to say Marlon Johnson's just caught on his heels. Can he come across and get the shot away? Nice little set to Barry Bannon, who then asked the question of Eisted, and he had the answer again.
So another corner taken from the Wednesday left. It's an in-swinging delivery which is half cleared, and Barnsley win the seconds on the edge of the box and will try and bring it forward. Connell with an intelligent touch, just didn't whack it forward. He tried to play it more intelligently, and Barnsley somehow work a 3 against 2. Kitching. Here's the moment for Connell, and he's put it wide. What a chance for Barnsley on the counter-attack. The 10 men setting up a 3 against 2. Should Luke Thomas have gone for goal himself? He slipped it to his left-hand side for Connell. The angle worse for him, but he had the time to take a touch. He's blasted it towards goal and hit the side netting.
That was the moment, wasn't it, Jim? You feel if Barnsley are to get anything out of this game, that was the moment. I think Thomas, I know he probably wants to cut in on his left. I think he can go outside and go on his right. He's better served to do that. He does play it off to a teammate in a good position. He just doesn't make the right contact.
Well, seeing the replay, he's not even hit the side netting. He's completely shanked it on his left foot way wide.
Yeah, I think look, Thomas, you know, when you don't take the shot straight away, he's come back onto his left. It's a weighted pass, and it's excellent. You know, Connell coming in, he'll be disappointed as well. Just make sure you hit the target there.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday have made another change. Rhys James has come off and Jack Hunt has come on to replace him. He was in the Wednesday side, beaten in their last playoff final by Hull in the Championship in 2016. Has won this playoff final in the past. Back in his Huddersfield days when he beat Sheffield United. That was in 2012. And also another former Barnsley player. He just had a brief spell at Oakwell. 11 appearances for the Tykes. On for his 180th in his 2 spells with Wednesday. Dawson clearing his lines. 90 seconds to go in this first period of extra time. It's 0-0. Wednesday with all the play in extra time. Barnsley with the best chance. Eisted making a couple of wonderful saves. One in particular. And he followed it up with another decent one as well. 104 on the clock. 0-0. And still, the most consequential moment of these two sides' season lies ahead of us here on talksport. Jack Hunt to take this throw. Back towards halfway for a Hickway. And Hickway playing it through the midfield. It goes out to the left-hand side for Wednesday's Liam Palmer. So much experience in this Wednesday team. Much more experience in the Wednesday side than in their Barnsley counterparts. Hunt, right-footed delivery from him. A little flick header goes over the bar from Smith onto the roof of the net. Eisted had it covered anyway. Goes out of play for a goal kick, and by the time he's taken it, just about be at the halfway point in extra time. An extra time that has produced 3 massive moments. The massive, monumentally important save from Eisted to deny Smith. Another good save to tip a long-range effort round the post. And then the miss from Connell, which should have given Barnsley the lead. 1 additional minute to be played at the end of this first period of extra time. We're in it now. Long clearance from Harry Eisted, brought back down in the midfield by Barnsley. Russell in there with a challenge. One of the Wednesday players went down. It's Gregory over on towards the far touchline. He's claiming that he was stamped on there. The referee says no. And the throw is taken by Sheffield Wednesday. 10 yards inside the Sunshine in their own half and near the edge of the penalty area. Ball played out towards the Wednesday right hand side for Hunt. High ball forward from Windus, goes over the head of Williams. Williams chasing after it. The offside flag is up, and that will get us through to half time and extra time at 0-0, I think.
Well, Hunt again, it was the wrong ball, wasn't it? He had space to drive in, even just slide it down the side for Smith, who's making a central run towards goal. Just forcing the issue, you've got another. Where do you go? There's a whistle there.
Yeah, half-time whistle goes. 15 minutes before the spectre of a penalty shootout. Wednesday with a recent experience of winning one of those, but they'll want to get the job done inside 120 minutes. Barnsley with a great chance on the counter-attack, some great goalkeeping as well, and still it's 0-0. And another Barnsley change with Cadden not coming back onto the field for the second period of extra time. Max Waters is the man that has replaced him. Max, who signed on loan from Cardiff, he began his career in non-league with Thurrock and Barking, made his name with Crawley, came off the bench to score within 3 minutes against Sheffield Wednesday at Oakwell, and he comes off the bench with 15 minutes to make an impact here. 105 gone, 10-man Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. The Tykes have been down to 10 for 55 minutes of action now. Wednesday haven't been able to breach their defence yet. Harry Eisted's had a big part to play in that. He certainly has made the more impressive saves. Cam Dawson hasn't really had too many to make, but Barnsley missing that glorious opportunity through Connell. Wednesday kicking from right to left as we look at it. Blue and white striped shirts, black shorts. Barnsley red shirts and white shorts. Which of these sides from South Yorkshire are going to be going north into the Championship? We'll find out definitively sometime in the next half hour now. Vokes will chip the ball over the top here for Wednesday. Suspicion that might have been offside. Play goes on for now. Chance for Hunt to deliver. It's ball back, right-footed effort, screams into the net, and now the flag comes up. It doesn't count. They don't know yet that it's been chalked off. It did look as though it was offside as the initial ball was played forward. Vokes thinks he scored the winner. Only now is he being told that he hasn't.
Well, you called it, Jim. I think offside. It was just a delay in the pass, the little one in behind. It went very early. I'm sitting thinking, why? Even in the second phase when it's cut back, the flag should go up then, surely, but it's an excellent finish. But it's clear as day that it's offside. Be surprised if it's...
Well, just having a look at the replay as the ball was played forward, we do have VAR for this final, but looking at the replay, it's not even particularly close. It's a yard. It took a long time to get the message across to the Wednesday players. I don't know how much energy they wasted in the exuberant celebration there. But it's a free kick to Barnsley rather than a goal. A little bit of pyro wasted. The Wednesday fans went early with it. Didn't anticipate the flag was coming up. Great celebration from folks. It went full Loire. If you're of my vintage, ask your dad. Well, Barnsley had it. Norwood able to bring the ball forward now for Barnsley. Right-footed ball clipped inside the penalty area, is headed away. Brought back down by Bannon. On the edge of the D4, Wednesday remains 0-0. We've played 107 minutes. And the ball is cleared up the Sheffield Wednesday left towards halfway. Gregory, it's a lovely touch. He's just chested it down to the path of Johnson. Johnson taking it on, surviving a handball shout. Ball inside the penalty area, not good enough. And Iceland came out with quick hands. And then his momentum took him into Smith, who didn't have to get out of the way. And it's just a collision between the pair of them, no foul. And Iceland not badly hurt by that. He's back on his feet and able to continue. And we've played 108.
Jim, I need more from Smith in that position there. Great play from Gregory, a little chest into the path of Johnson. Great first touch, just opens a bit. Smith's in the centre of the pitch on his own, running at the goal. He has to commit. He's got time to drive at Isted, and he can actually get to that ball first.
He's been in good form, 7 goals in his last 8 games. Michael Smith got a hat-trick against Shrewsbury a month ago. He's playing his 3rd League 1 Play-off final today. He's been on both ends of the result in his time. Lost one with Swindon, won one with Rotherham. Is it going to be a W or an L for him today with Sheffield Wednesday? Wednesday have a throw right in front of us, which is about 8 yards out of the penalty area that Barnsley are defending. It's a chance for Vokes to launch a long one in. The Wednesday fans in front of us all rise to their feet. Nearly everybody forward for Sheffield Wednesday. In fact, barring Liam Palmer and the goalkeeper, everybody is forward. Just a brief break here because slight communication problems involving the officials. Atle House and the assistant referee is just having his technical equipment sorted out by referee Tim Robinson. That's given Wednesday the opportunity to flood the penalty area, and Oaks just discussing with 2 of the Wednesday subs who haven't come on yet exactly how the game is going. Now he has the chance to launch this long throw inside the penalty area. Didn't quite get the angle right. Potentially dangerous flick on. Big appeals for a handball in there from the Wednesday players. Falls for Bannon straight at the goalkeeper. Struck it beautifully. A left-footed volley, and again he crumples to the floor and is in need of a little bit of treatment for cramp. As soon as he hit that, you saw a grimace on his face. And not just because he couldn't divert it either side of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, fantastic technique from Barry Bannon. The connection was right, power in the shot, just straight down straight at Isted, wasn't it? But it's one of them. He's covered so much distance as well. No surprise that he's pulling up the cramp.
10 minutes to go. 10 minutes before a penalty shootout. And still, Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 the score. Long throw inside the penalty area, clear. Bannon shot, saved. It'll be good, right-footed by Dawson from the edge of his own penalty area. Long ball headed away. Brought back down by John Russell in the Barnsley midfield. It's slightly a difficult one for Hunt to control. High right-footed up and under from him. Kitching will try and meet it as Wednesday work it back inside the Barnsley half, and he's conceded a free kick, which will be taken over on the Wednesday right. And Barnsley are in a position now that they're just desperately trying to get to the end of extra time, a penalty.
Yeah, they are, but they're still defending well. Look, there's been a few scary moments, but again, they're still standing tall and up to the task.
That's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, Sheffield United striker. Ball inside the penalty area from Volks is headed down and then knocked away easily again by Anderson at the heart of the Barnsley defence. That Barnsley back line have been brilliant today. Palmer almost playing as a one-man defensive unit for Sheffield Wednesday now, sweeping up with everybody else going forward. Johnson tried to turn, does well, gets the cross in. Smith almost there to attack it, it didn't fall for him. Then it's knocked away. Thomas back for his namesake. And the Barnsley brothers, or the Barnsley players, I beg your pardon, not brothers, get it away. High ball over the top from Connell. Chased down the Barnsley right-hand side by Norwood. He didn't get a touch on it, it goes out of play. No foul on him by Palmer. And it's a throw. I think it's been given as a Barnsley throw. Bannon's down again. They'll want to do what they can to be able to get him through the full 120 minutes, because if he goes to penalties, Bannon would be one of the takers. They've had 2 shootouts over the course of this season. They lost one of them, they won the other. Bannon took a penalty in both, so they want to do everything they can to be able to get him through the next 7.5 minutes. But he's not the only one suffering from tiredness by any stretch of the imagination. He hasn't got the monopoly on it. There are Barnsley players who are just stretching off as well now.
Now everyone's struggling. You get to this point in the game and it's also not just a physical toll, it's the emotion, the concentration, but it's the last thing you want is to let your team down in a game to be won by a mistake.
Bannon back on his feet. Play's going to resume with a Barnsley throw. Wednesday getting everybody back. Bannon, having received treatment, has to go back off the field. But he's going to be coming back on again in a moment. In fact, it's not a throw, it's a free kick that was given for a foul on Norwood. So a chance for Connell to swing this inside the penalty area. Will Barnsley be able to make a set-piece pay? Luke Thomas waits unmarked, 8-9 yards outside the box. Nearly everybody else is forward here. Connell to swing it in, left-footed, great angle on the delivery, really good defensive header as well. It was Smith that came back to knock it away. Bannon given permission to come back on. Wednesday try and work it forward quickly. Luke Thomas stops the counter-attack, has done well. Kitching playing it forward, flick round the corner, volleyed away on the edge of the penalty area. Wednesday wanted an offside flag, it didn't come. Back in again from Luke Thomas. Kitching at the far post can only get his head to it, nothing more than that. It was all about making contact, and it goes straight through to the goalkeeper.
Jim, I can't believe that they're keeping Barry Bannon on. They have to make the change. It just evens it up. Go. They don't want it to go to penalties. They've got the advantage. Try and win the game in the last 50 minutes, that stage.
Well, they are going to make a change. Bannon's gone down again. Deli Bashiru is the player that is going to come on to replace him. He'll only do so when the ball is out of play, so Dawson throws it off. And Barry Bannon's season is over. But will he be playing Championship or League 1 football next year? And the bearded Scot, who's given everything for the cause over a number of seasons for Sheffield Wednesday, does what he can to leave the field as quickly as possible. He comes off, and Fasaya Deli Bashiru, the former Manchester City midfielder, comes on to replace him.
It's just so difficult when cramp sets in that way. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it. All the energy gels, the stretching, the massages in the world, once it sets in like that, you just can't get rid of it.
So Bannon off, and all he can do now is sit and watch. Dele Bashiru, the player that comes on to replace him. 5 goals this season, all of them came at Hillsborough before the end of October. Barnsley restart play. The ball had been put out of play so that Wednesday could make the change, and Norwood throws it and not back to the goalkeeper. He throws it straight into the hoardings, so it goes out of play for a goal kick, but Dawson's got to run a few seconds off the clock by going to retrieve it. 4 minutes of the 120 remaining. Now those 4 minutes will be elongated maybe by a couple. 6 minutes of action then maybe. Good header by Bobby Thomas, but straight out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Sheffield Wednesday left. 0-0 in the League 1 Play-off final. Is it going to be the first year in playoff history that all 3 playoff finals have gone to penalties? It's looking that way. Long clearance forward, bouncing towards the edge of the penalty area. Dele Bashiru is in there. Can he make himself a hero after coming on? It's found Johnson getting it back for Liam Palmer. Palmer, high right-footed ball out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Volley back down. Gregory with an effort which was brilliantly blocked. Outstanding defending from Anderson. Back it comes in again. Heads Godfrey to the far post. Winner sends it over the bar. And that is a season-saving piece of defending.
It is. We talked about the Eistedt save earlier, but this block is every bit as good. It's unbelievable. Putting your body on the line. And as you say, that probably stops a certain goal.
It's outstanding defending, isn't it? Just there, making himself big. Like, I tell you what, it's unbelievable. It's a great ball from Palmer, just kept alive, put back into the danger area, and he's done it. He's scored on target, isn't it? But what a fantastic block that is from Anderson.
Stunning goalkeeping, stunning defending. Barnsley will feel that they deserve over 120 minutes to at least take this 2 penalties. Smith going up for it. Dele Bashiru sees the ball run out of play. Last touch of the Wednesday man. It's a throw to Barnsley. 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time before we go to penalties. But there is the psychological advantage, of course, for Wednesday that they won a penalty shootout only a few days ago in the second leg of that game against Peterborough at Hillsborough. So it's all muscle memory. It will stand them in good stead. Barnsley haven't had a shootout for a couple of years. Well, there are a few people that played in that are on the field now. Here's Liam Kitching for Barnsley, playing 4 down the line. Barnsley got a player down, so they're down to 9 at the moment. I don't think they realise that. Connell might be advised to put the ball out of play here. Barnsley are going to play on. If they lose possession, then Wednesday might have an outstanding chance of being able to make the most of a double numerical advantage now. Wednesday will saunter forward, and it's 5 against 3. Can they make the most of it? Ball swung in towards Johnson on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Now Barnsley will be regretting not putting the ball out of play. High ball inside the box, defensive header coming at the far post, flicked away. Now it goes out of play for a corner. How did the message not get across to the Barnsley players to get it out of play there?
No idea, but again, Sheffield Wednesday, was it 5v3? Again, they're making the wrong decisions. It's a poor decision, and the quality on the ball going through is poor as well, and Barnsley are very lucky that Sheffield Wednesday weren't better from that.
Yeah, the ball was just played behind Marvin Johnson there. He takes a poor touch and just allows Barnsley to get back, but I think it's Norwood up top that's really struggling. He was asking the physios to get on.
Well, Kitching has been struggling as well. And now Barnsley, Wednesday, going to be making a change. No, the numbers board has come up. The official team sheet that we were given didn't have Robbie Cundy on it, but he's going to be coming on wearing 24. Numbers board has come up and said it's number 26 who's coming on. I don't think anybody's really too sure, but it is Robbie Cundy who's down there and going to come on for Norwood. And then he retreats and makes his way back to the edge of the bench. Answers on a postcard. They're not making a change. Norwood's going to stay on. 3 minutes of added time at the end of extra time. 3 minutes for either of these sides to clinch promotion.
Time for a hero.
Time for a hero, not time for a villain. That's the one thing, as a neutral, you don't want to see. You don't want this to be sorted by some significant mistake somewhere along the line. Barnsley in possession. Ball has gone out of play. They haven't made the change. Throw is taken by Wednesday. On halfway, Johnson back to Liam Palmer. Now Palmer will play it back to his goalkeeper Dawson. Dawson will get it forward right-footed. A high ball towards the edge of the penalty area. A really good header from Anderson, leaning over Smith. Out further forward, it'll be chased by Watters, the most advanced of the Barnsley players. And his Industry making a run down the left-hand side has forced the Hickory to come across and put it out of play for a throw. We're in the 122nd minute. And it's still 10-man Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 here on talksport. Throw to be taken up the Barnsley left. Straight away, volleyed away by the Wednesday back line. Forward through the midfield for Gregory. Gregory turning it forward. Highstead is forced to retreat. Smith. They've got two in blue and white making their way forward for him. Smith getting towards the byline, flicking it in and took a deflection. Highstead's hands were good. He reacted to the deflection. And now he's on his knees inside his penalty area. Maybe just saying a silent little prayer as well for what's to follow. But he's wasting as many seconds as he can before getting the ball back upfield. There's a minute to go.
And initially he looks up, doesn't he? I think he wants to put that ball in early. There's nobody with him, but then in that position I think he's trying to clip it over. I just think he needs to drill that and hope for the best.
Clearance from Highstead, brought down by Norwood, helped on by Luke Thomas, just whacking it clear, getting it out of harm's way. Well, 20 minutes into the game, it felt as though this might well go to penalties. We've taken a slightly circuitous route to it with the red card and some exceptional goalkeeping and a couple of misses. And the counter-attacks that weren't made the most of. This is the last phase of play. Dawson whacking it forward long upfield. Bobby Thomas with a couple of headers. Deli Bashiru will pick it up, make a way inside the penalty area. Gregory has it for Wednesday's. Clipped it inside the box. And Wednesday win it with a diving header from Josh Windus. Sheffield Wednesday back in the Championship, breaking Barnsley hearts in the last seconds of extra time. And just as Dean Windus won a playoff final back in the day, now Josh wins it, throwing himself at this cross, diving header, only parried into the net by Highstead. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Barnsley 0. And for the Tykes, that is the most heartbreaking of circumstances. But Wednesday scoring the goal so late, Barnsley will barely have time to kick off.
It's an excellent header. Josh Windus arriving at the right time. Lee Gregory does excellent work down that left-hand side. You know, it's tight. He gets that little dink, the connection, the pace on the cross is excellent. But Josh Windus arriving when he did, the power of the header. Like you say, Highstead, I think he got a hand to it, but just there's too much power on it. Fantastic goal.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and this is what Windus for me hasn't done enough. And what we normally see of him, arriving at the right place at the right time, and it's brilliant. He puts everything into it. It's a fantastic diving header. There's nothing that Highstead can do about it. Yes, he gets a hand to it, but it's just far too powerful.
In the 123rd minute of the playoff final, Josh Windus. Great ball in. It's a magnificent header. It was the power that beat the goalkeeper. For Barnsley, that is the epitome of heartbreak. Barnsley will have time to kick off, but they don't have time for a second touch. The most extraordinary playoff campaign in any club's individual history. ends in success. Sheffield Wednesday, dead and buried after the first leg of the semi-finals, have won promotion. Boy, have they done it the hard way. 4-0 down after the first leg of the semi-finals. They've simply never known when they were beaten, and they couldn't have left it any later today to get the job done against Barnsley. Josh Windus, the second member of his family to score a winning goal in a playoff final. A diving header in the 3rd minute of stoppage time after extra time. Sheffield celebrates the first time that both of the clubs from the Steel City have been promoted in the same season since 1984. They missed out last year. They've got the job done this. Barnsley, down to 10 men from the 50th minute, deserved at least to get it to penalties. Harry Iceland, their goalkeeper, had a sensational day. But not for the first time in Wembley history. It's Windus with the last word. And Wednesday are back in the Championship. After extra time, Barnsley 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Darren Moore's Owls are promoted.